Approved, the appointments are expected to restore the board's ability to provide oversight at the PIC, which manages more than 3 trillion in assets, including the retirement savings of millions of public servants. The board appointments come after weeks of instability at the institution, which has seen the resignation of former board chair David Masondo, the precautionary suspension of Chief Executive Patrick Lamini and Chief Investment Officer August van Heerden. Government hopes the appointment of a new board will restore stability and strengthen governance at one of the country's most important financial institutions. Anilita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
In the capital, a senior investigator at IDAC has been accused by 2 of his colleagues of fabricating witness statements. John Perlman from the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption is now at the center of a serious probe at the Madlanga Commission. 2 of his colleagues have submitted voice notes to the Commission disavowing statements Perlman allegedly took in their presence. Thabiso Goba has those details.
On the 6th of January last year, 2 IDAC investigators and a prosecutor went to Cape Town to obtain statements from National Coloured Congress Member of Parliament Fadil Adams. The statements related to Adams' complaints about fraud and corruption at Crime Intelligence. Senior IDAC investigator John Perlman submitted statements taken on that day as evidence at a related court matter and in the Madlanga Commission. However, in voice notes sent to the Madlanga Commission, Perlman's colleagues say the statements he submitted are different to the ones they took.
But Dylan did not take or commission any statements in my presence.
I was questioning that signature of Fadil. It looks like someone was trying to jigger it.
Co-Commissioner Sandile Khumalo says these revelations point to serious misconduct. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
In the courts, the pre-trial conference in the murder case of Warwick Stock, popularly known as DJ Warris, has been postponed to the 19th of August. One of the accused, Victor Majola, told the court he's facing financial difficulties with funding his legal representation. Stock was shot and killed in December last year in the Joburg CBD in what's believed to be a targeted hit linked to work undertaken by his security company at hijacked buildings. If Majola is unable to pay his attorney before the next court date, he must inform the court and make arrangements for alternative representation. Should Majola settle his legal fees and retain his current lawyer, the 19th of August will mark the formal start of the pre-trial proceedings in the case. Judge William Karam instructed Majola to resolve the issue.
The interests of justice are not only those interests that pertain to you, but that pertain as well to your co-accused, that pertain to society in general, that pertain to the victim, that pertain to the interests of justice.
And the Angolan Kwanza has officially been introduced into the SADC real-time gross settlement system, meaning the currency can be used for cross-border payments and transactions. The Southern African Development Community has taken another step towards deeper regional financial integration, marking the first new currency to join the platform since it launched more than a decade ago. The announcement was made today by Governor Lesetja Kganyago, who also chairs the SADC Committee of Central Bank Governors, alongside Banco Nacional de Angola Governor Manuel Tiago Diaz. Kganyago says the move strengthens regional financial integration and encourages greater use of African currencies in cross-border trade.
The introduction of the Angolan Kwanza as a settlement currency advances the region's multi-currency vision. It shows that regional currencies can do more. It can facilitate trade, it can reduce reliance on vehicle currencies, and support more direct settlement within SADC.
Gold's trading at $4,087.49 an ounce. The rand's at 16.75 to the dollar, at 22.30 to the pound, at 19.07 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $90.33 a barrel.
Leaving the Joburg CBD, you can expect some delays in Hermanstad on Eskiam Pahlele. This is between Wormhagen and the R80. Devland traffic also sluggish on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12.
In your sports, Banyana looking to make a winning start to their WAFCON campaign against Tanzania. Mfundo Vilagazi scores the winner as Kaizer Chiefs win the Toyota Cup. And Tutugo Mkunu drafted into the Springbok squad.
A look at your weather. It's clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 23 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. A shareholder meeting intended to address the leadership crisis at the Public Investment Corporation will no longer go ahead.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 8 minutes past 3 on Monday, the 27th of July. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Welcome to the show. South Africa, as you know all too well, I'm sure, has a big water problem.
Our people deserve the best service of water distribution that we can offer. So this requires innovation. It requires new financial models as well. And it requires partnerships between government, developmental finance institutions, communities, and the private sector.
Well, last week, the National Water Action Plan was released. Of course, our country has lots of plans. Sometimes it seems like we have more plans than we actually have water. But could this one actually start making a difference? Dr. Sean Phillips is Director General in the Department of Water and Sanitation. He's my guest at 10 past 5. We're going to look into what the plan sets out. But crucially, most importantly perhaps, we're going to look at the capacity of the country to deliver on what is set out in the document. You probably know that driving at night, certainly later into the night, isn't a great idea. But do you realize how much of a bad idea this really is and what it is about driving at night that's actually risky? New research details all of those things. We'll have a closer look at it at 10 to 4. And no matter where he has played or coached, this man has loomed large over South African football.
Look, I've got no emotions. I've got cold nerves on the refereeing, the way it happens in the country. If I have to benefit 5 games in a row, I'll gladly take it home because people have done it in a series of games. So it's my chance. So congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns. We have won it and fairly with good goals. And that's it. We leave the trophy. That's it. No stories.
Yeah, you can always expect a straight answer from Pitso Mosimane. There's lots happening around him at the moment. He's just released a new coaching manual for youth football, which is creating a lot of excitement. And, of course, his name is consistently and constantly now linked with the Bafana job. He's my guest at 10 to 5. Really looking forward to that. And, as always, in the last part of the show, we pick a theme for music. Not surprisingly, we've got walking on our minds. So songs with either walk or walking in the title, like this one perhaps. Sounds there of Craig David with Walking Away. Nice stuff. Okay, so give us a call on that if you've got a song that you absolutely would love us to play that has either walk or walking away in the title. Give us a ring on that on 702 on 072 702 1702. Now, some very good news from the markets. The best news today is a sharp fall in the oil price. Brent crude has fallen by $11.97, currently trading at $86.72 a barrel. I think it was around 100 at the start of the weekend. Maybe it just needed a couple of days off, the oil price did. JSE was flying higher this morning and still doing well, with the all share up by 790 points. Mondi and Sun International are both up by 5.3%. Pepcor's stronger by 4.4%. The falling oil price has pushed Thungela down by 6.7%, and Sasol, unsurprisingly, is also weaker today by 4.8%. Exxaro has lost 4%. Rand trading at 16 Rand 76 against the dollar. A euro will cost you 19 Rand and 7 cents. 22 Rand 30 will get you a pound. Not sure about what's causing the weakening in our currency because it seems to be across the board, so it can't just be a single cause like dollar strength, for example. We'll find out about that a little later in the show. We do have, though, good gains for precious metals. The gold price up by $34.76 an ounce. Platinum up by $43.38. Stephen Curtis is that somebody who I mentioned will be coming in a little bit later to give us some clarity. He's with us at 4:25. We'll have sport with Tolakele Mganga. Karabo Chale joins us with the traffic news, and Maki Molapo, who you heard a moment ago, back at 3:30 with the very latest news headlines. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. If it's happening in 702 land, you'll hear it here first. But if there's something we might have missed, something we don't know, everything we should know about, please call us on 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. This is 702 Drive. It's 3:13.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
Speaking of walk the talk, I mean, what did you most enjoy about Sunday? I wouldn't really know where to start. I just started getting excited the moment I got on the Gautrain at the Rosebank station. And it reminded me of my early days as a kid going to Ellis Park, where you could feel that people were gathering for something big and something special. Many of you were all over that station, packed into the Prasa train that took us to Ellis Park. And that was before we'd even started walking. A memorable day. Thank you all so much for being part of it, whether you actually walked or not. It was our event, the whole 702 family, but in particular, people who came there and just created most wonderful energy. It is a day none of us will forget in any great hurry. Thanks so much. But what did you most enjoy? What was memorable? What about the walk through different parts of Joburg surprised you? I'd love to hear from you on any of those topics. Please do give us a call.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So I get a daily feed from the game property Londolozi. They put out the most fantastic blog, and it's not because I'm a regular visitor there at all, but you can sign up, and I couldn't recommend it more. If you just love stories about animals, but learning really interesting things about animal behavior, Londolozi really hits the mark with something quite special, and it arrives every day, and I love glancing through it. But I saw this headline which made me think. So let me read the headline, then I'll tell you what it made me think of. Nothing to do with animals, I'm afraid, except, well, we're animals. It says, why are male leopards territorial? And I'll read it later because it interests me. But then I thought, we're also quite territorial. There are things that we don't like, and it could be referred to a particular part of your house. It could refer to a particular seat in your sitting room. It could refer to the remote. It could refer to your braai tongs. There's a whole lot of things where I've seen, and I have been guilty of, people getting quite, hey, what are you doing? Put that thing down. This is mine. So what are you territorial about? Jonathan Fairbairn, are you territorial? Good afternoon to you, producing the show this week, having presented part of our coverage yesterday from Ellis Park. It was great stuff. But territorial, where do you start to growl quietly, or maybe your whiskers sort of twitch?
Afternoon, John, and afternoon to our 702 family. So, I mean, I think I'm quite territorial in many aspects of my life. So, for example, at work, I'm very territorial over my parking space. So there's nothing more that irritates me when I drive into the basement and I drive down the particular section where I can see my bay, and then somebody has parked in my bay. Yeah. Because we have allocated bays, each of us get a specific bay, and then sometimes, the visitors or whatever it may be, or freelancers will park in the wrong bay. Yes. Then I start growling. And then also at my work desk, some of the desks are hot desks where anybody can share, and then obviously each of us have our own desks.
Yes.
And then, like, if I go and leave and I come back and I notice that somebody has worked on my computer, so they haven't logged off, or they've eaten amazimbas maybe and started typing on my keyboard, and then I type. So I get territorial over those things. And then sometimes maybe if I'm cooking something, just let me cook. I'll cook it, and then once it's done and I'm happy with it, I'll then say, do you want to come and taste and maybe give me your thoughts?
Yeah.
So don't come and taste and give me your thoughts.
With your long spoon. Yes.
Yeah, until I've said, okay, come and have a taste and see what you think.
Okay, so I think we've been warned, Karabo Chali.
100%. I was taking notes.
Yeah. I had someone in my bay, and I took a picture of me parked across their car.
I remember you told me that.
And then
So you parked behind them. You parked them in.
No, but I mean, I backed off on the key thing. So I took a picture of that, sent it to the person who controls park, and said, "Please let this person know that I'll be finished after 6."
Sheesh.
But then I moved my car.
Yeah.
And put it, but I wanted to
So
make
you're
the
even
point.
more territorial than me when it comes to parking space.
I wish I'd sort of stuck to my plan, actually. They might even still be there if I keep going. How about you, Mr. Karabo Charlie? At what point do we touch you on your studio?
Actually, you can touch me anywhere on my studio because I am not territorial at all. Like, sharing is, I don't know, it's just one of those things, you know? Maybe, I don't know.
So your family, your son.
My son is very territorial. Nobody touches his mug. He is a germaphobe. The minute you touch his mug, he will lose it. He will clean it, make sure it's deep cleaned, and then he will use it. So don't ever, if you come there, make sure you know which mug is my son's because you don't want to step on his toes.
Yeah. I mean, there's even issues when it comes to being territorial over your significant others.
Okay.
No, it's a thing, eh? I mean, some men and some women are very territorial over their partners, which could, it borders on, there could be a bit of abuse there as well, and hyper jealousy. So that's also another sign of things.
So territorial behavior that we indulge in or we encounter, please do give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702. Tino says, Kabazela must be fun at parties. And I don't really know what that comment means. Are you being ironic, or do you think he must be fun at parties? I mean, I can tell you, he's great at parties. Great storyteller, terrific company, and all of that. But Tino, you're leaving us guessing there, so maybe elaborate or leave it as it is. Your call. 20 minutes past 3. Let's find out about what's happening in one of those most territorial of spaces, traffic. It's weird, really, because nobody owns anything on the road.
Exactly.
But if it's your little bit, your place in that lane, people sometimes can get a little edgy. But any need to get edgy just yet?
Yeah, please exercise some patience because already if you are leaving the Pretoria CBD, there's slow-moving traffic in the Mountain View area on Eskia Mphahlele between Vormhagen and the R80 in Germiston. There's an accident scene on the N17 eastbound before Wits Rifles, causing heavy delays all the way from Osborne. In Germiston, roadworks are causing delays on the N17 eastbound. This is approaching Rondebold, while in Devland, traffic sluggish on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The resignation of IDAC head advocate Andrea Johnson, the president accepting that resignation. Dr. Narini, this almost doesn't come as a surprise, really.
Well, it's not a surprise. It is good she has done it and the president has accepted. She was going to be suspended anyway. It was just a matter of time, given the revelations at the Mazanga Commission. Even though she has resigned, she will continue to testify.
What happens to her now? I mean, does she get a golden handshake and off to the sunset she goes?
There are no golden handshakes in government. There is no such a thing. She'll just get a normal pension like all other public servants. But as far as the sanctions are concerned, with all the complaints against her now, those complaints will be sustained because it doesn't mean that the case goes away merely because she's no longer in that position.
Right.
So there will be consequences.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis presents the School of AI, the first of its kind in Africa, powered by 100 world-class AI experts delivering cutting-edge training, consulting, and real-world AI solutions. Regenesis has embedded compulsory AI modules across all their programs and 12 of their schools, from business and law to education and technology. Join the movement now. Enroll at regenesis.net. Regenesis, one institution leading the way.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, an adventure-packed tour, or a luxury cruise, Flight Centre is your centre for travel. We make travel easy, affordable, and stress-free. Plus, you can enjoy exclusive traveler perks with our frequent flighty rewards program. Flight Centre's got you covered. Visit your nearest Flight Centre store or online at flightcentre.co.za. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
That's Sia, before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
702 Drive, 24 minutes past 3. Let's go to the Joburg High Court then and look at that trial that involves the businessman Vusimuzi Matlala and 4 others charged with attempted murder, a number of counts of that, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud and money laundering, 25 charges in all. Busy day in the court once again. Let's find out what's happened, the key moments with Dimakatso Lishoro, our EWN colleague. Dimakatso, very good afternoon to you. What's happened in the court that we ought to know about today? Good afternoon.
Hi, John. So today we saw the continuation of the trial within the trial. This has to do with the defense that brought an application to dispute the circumstances regarding the arrest of accused one Mosake Kana. And, the state witness started his testimony on Friday, and he was concluding that. So today we saw the defense cross-examining him, trying to dispute or cast doubt in terms of what happened on that day. His identifying of Mosake Kana and wanting to determine what he said in his statement. We understand that he gave 2 statements to the police, and in neither of those statements did he actually mention his facial features or his build in terms of his body, but only mentioned the T-shirt that he was wearing. So the defense was trying to say, well, their version is that was not Mosake Kana who was driving the I-20. John, this has to do with the arrest in April 17, 2024, when Mosake Kana was arrested with one Michael Puledau, allegedly regarding the murder of Amanswart in Vereeniging. We understand that on that day, police asked a private security individual, Christo Shepard, to go and surveil the house, where they understand from the information that they received that the cars that were seen committing the murder would be expected or reside in that place. So when he went there, he said that he saw Mosake Kana driving this car. However, he mentioned that he was wearing a long-sleeve mustard shirt, and he went in the property in the Hyundai i20 and came out in a Mercedes-Benz. So they were trying to dispute that and cast doubt on his testimony, but that has concluded. And after, just before lunch, we saw accused number 5 bring an application and saying that she wants permission to not attend the case because she says she's only been charged with 3 counts of money laundering. And as we understand, according to the state's plan of presenting their case, that will come much later. So now they're currently dealing with charges relating to the attempted murder of Josie Banyoni. So her issue will then come later because they want to deal with Sibanyoni and the other one, Debogo Tobejane and DJ Vetis, those core issues, which are the attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. And then the issue of money laundering will come in the latter part of the case. Her charges are in relation to, the state is alleging that her father, money was paid to her father through her account. Her father is an accused number 2,
yes.
Diego Mabusela. So she wants to stay home, and the judge has refused because she was saying it affects this case, being here every day, traveling from Pretoria, affects her studies, and the judge has said no, she must come to court every day. So where we are currently, we are hearing the second state witness in the trial within the trial. But this is the third accused in the whole trial. But with this specific trial within the trial with regards to the arrest of Musakekana, we are hearing evidence from a captain of the TRT that were part of the team that took down Musakekana and Michael Bullet to detail to the court what actually transpired, how were they able to identify Musakekana, and what are they to address the disputed facts, whether there were any or people that informed them, or what role any of them played in taking down Musakekana, John.
Thanks so much, Dimakatso Lishoro, joining us from the trial of Vusimuzi Matlala and 4 others. 28 minutes past 3.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
I've been looking at the testimony of the head of IDAC, Ms. Johnson. I can't help but feel like the establishment of IDAC was for nothing other than political reasons. Questions that are posed to her, the lack of response, and more specifically, the issue of Fadil Adams. How it is now becoming apparent that much of the charges he laid against certain members of the intelligence were fed to him by people from IDAC.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
As a business owner, you're always looking for ways to save money. But have you looked at saving on your business insurance premium? With Outsurance Business Insurance, you could save big, like Bosmansdam High School, which saves 3,705 Rand a month. How much could you save? Make the smart business move. Switch and save with Outsurance Business Insurance for educational institutes, law firms, real estate agencies, computer services, and all other businesses. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurance FSP. TCs and information online.
Mavis, I wonder if I should sell my car. I'm not sure where to go.
Wanna sell your car, but don't know what to do. You don't have to go far, we come to you. If you're rolling on a 1.5 or a Lacquer 2.2, doesn't matter what you drive, we buy cars once you.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Some parcels are more than parcels. They're gifts, opportunities, supplies, and moments people are counting on. That's why CourierIt makes it easy to book, send, and track your parcel online, moving it from your door to anywhere nationwide. And with 2,700 pickup points, sending has never been more convenient. With real-time visibility, reliable delivery, and people who care, we help you deliver what matters. Move it with CourierIt, because your parcel deserves more. Sign up on courierit.co.za.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Center becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
Right, it's 29 minutes now to 4 o'clock. Could the Phala matter be going back to the Constitutional Court? Maki Molapo has the story.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. ATM MP Vuyo Zungula is adamant President Cyril Ramaphosa's interdict of the Section 89 impeachment inquiry can be challenged. Zungula has not given up on his legal fight for the Section 89 impeachment to continue its probe and has now approached the Constitutional Court for clarity. This follows Friday's Western Cape High Court decision to grant Ramaphosa's application to interdict the inquiry pending the review of the independent panel report which led to the impeachment proceedings. Babalo Ndenze has more.
ATM MP Vuyo Zungula says they've
filed an urgent direct appeal to the Constitutional Court to challenge the High Court's interim interdict. He says the High Court order effectively delays impeachment proceedings and delays the implementation of the Constitutional Court's directive in the Phala case. Zungula took to social media to say the order is appealable because it has a final effect on parliamentary processes. He says this is supported in the case of National Treasury versus the Organization Undoing Tax Abuse, which demonstrates that such interdicts can be set aside. Zungula was referring to the landmark ruling where the Constitutional Court overturned a High Court interim interdict that had temporarily halted the implementation of the Gauteng e-toll system. Zungula says currently there is no court hearing to determine the lawfulness of the order, which is binding in nature and creates a concerning precedent for executive accountability. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
In the courts, one of the accused in the trial of alleged underworld kingpin Wismusiket Matlala has asked the Johannesburg High Court to excuse her from attending parts of the trial that do not relate to the 3 money laundering charges she faces. Ntabise Nzama brought a formal application to be excused before Judge Kasim Musa today. She argues being required to attend the lengthy proceedings every day places an unnecessary burden on her, particularly as the majority of the evidence is unrelated to her alleged offence. Matlala and his 4 co-accused face a combined 25 charges, including attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud and money laundering. Nzama, however, faces only 3 counts of money laundering. Dimakatso Leshoro has more.
The state alleges that money intended to pay Ntabise Nzama's father's criminal activities was channeled through her bank account. In an affidavit read into the record by her lawyer advocate Timothy Chauke, Nzama says her continuous attendance is already negatively affecting her studies.
My studies have already been adversely affected by my continuous attendance and proceedings, notwithstanding that much of the evidence does not concern me.
The state has not opposed the application and neither did counsel for the other accused. Prosecutor Elise Leroux confirmed the evidence relating directly to Nzama's money laundering charges will only be led much later in the trial, with the exception of evidence concerning a BMW 335 which was used allegedly in the hit to kill Joe Sibanyoni. At some stage, the car was registered in her name. Judge Musa has reserved judgment on the application. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg High Court.
Meanwhile, Private Security Officer Christian Shepherd has concluded his evidence in the trial within a trial into the admissibility of evidence arising from the arrest of accused number 1, Musa Kekana. The state is expected to call a TRT captain, Pimi Alfred Sekubela, to testify about the disputed circumstances surrounding Kekana's arrest. And the number of firefighting planes and helicopters has been ramped up to help tackle a blaze in the southwest of France. The fire has been raging since last week Wednesday, ravaging 42,000 hectares of pine forest in the Bordeaux region. Fire crews are scrambling to tackle the fire before a new spike in temperatures is expected in the coming days. The European Union says 9 aerial assets deployed and 11 will be deployed tomorrow. Spain is also grappling major wildfires in the west of Madrid. Look at your weather. It's a clear sky in Gauteng today. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 22 and 23 degrees.
Accident seen in Benoni, N12 eastbound near Atlas Road, causing huge delays from Rondebolt. Germiston, accident seen as well. N17 eastbound before Wits Rifles, causing heavy delays from Osborne. And there's also bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is through the Devland area on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12.
The top story in Eyewitness News, ATM MP Vuyo Zungula is adamant President Cyril Ramaphosa's interdict of the Section 89 impeachment inquiry can be challenged.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Andrea Johnson is continuing with her testimony at the Madlanga Commission this morning as the now former head of IDEC following her resignation. Johnson sent a letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the National Director of Public Prosecutions boss, Andy Mutibi, requesting to step down. Ramaphosa confirmed this morning that he's accepted her resignation with immediate effect. Justice Minister Mamluku Kubai says Johnson will be entitled to her pension according to the country's labor laws.
When a person resigns, that's the end between the relationship between the employer and employee.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Belgotex. Their CEO, Evan Lockhart-Barker, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
That's Thabo before he got naked. When Thabo's car broke down, he did what every manly man does best. Hit things, fiddle, and hope it works. So Thabo got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now call roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Tools down, Thabo. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Get ready to watch demo prices get knocked down. It's the Demolition Sale at Motor Select. Hundreds of quality demo vehicles at smashed prices. Come find the demo deal you've been waiting for and save big on your next car. The Demolition Sale is now on. Motor Select. Trusted value, trusted vehicles. Visit motorselect.co.za to find yours. T's and C's apply.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. Good afternoon, listeners. John, me, I'm territorial about my Xbox. I own a lot of stuff, but the only time when I get angry when someone wants to mess with my Xbox, I territorial about that one.
Yeah, what are you territorial about? We asked that question. It could be a thing. It could be a space in your house. It could be your physical and personal space in a public gathering. It's, things that you... I mean, the classic one is... But, I give up on this because I've already lost the battle before it's begun. But people who absolutely have to not only have the entire armrest in a plane, but also a substantial portion of the well at your feet where you were hoping to maybe put a bag or at least put your own feet down in some sort of comfort. So, give us your thoughts, please, on and confess. What are you territorial about? We'd love to hear from you on 072 702 1702. It's 20 to 4.
EWN Sport.
So Tolekele, WAFCON underway. Banyana in action tonight, up against Tanzania. What's the team saying?
Well, John, they're looking to make a positive start to their WAFCON campaign when they go up against the Tigwa Stars in their Group B opener this evening. If selected, Linda Matlo will make her 100th national team appearance. It's the third time these two nations meet in this competition, and Captain Refilwe Jane is clear on the approach they need to employ to win their encounter.
Whatever chances that we create, we have to capitalize. We have to score goals and keep a clean sheet. You win your first game, you move on towards the next match with high confidence. So we want to start the tournament very well. We want to make sure that when we go out there, we are ready. So it will be important for us to get a positive result against Tanzania.
Kaizer Chiefs have won their first trophy of the season after Mfundo Vilagazi's 16th-minute strike secured them a 1-0 victory over Scotland FC in the Toyota Cup. New coach Fernando de Cruz, speaking through a translator, says while they still have a lot to work on, he's happy with the Glamour Boys' approach to the clash.
He says for the moment the mindset of the team is very good. Also in our preseason game in Spain, the mindset for the 3 games in 1 week was very good. Today we suffer, but the answer very positive also. So he's very happy, but he careful also because he doesn't want that it's in short term. He wants to see if it will be the same in medium or long term also.
Ali Lawaki, Semisite Aloha, and Josh Jocome are the only uncapped players that are named in the All Blacks 44-player squad for next month's tour of South Africa. Coach Dave Rennie has rested captain Adi Sevilla for their warm-up games, but he's expected back in time for the first test against the Springboks.
Well, Adi's been training and playing since January 2025. He obviously had that season there. He then went away with the All Blacks. He came to Kobe and been straight into the Nations Cup. So we need to find a window where we can freshen him up. And this seemed the obvious time. And so, it was a pretty simple decision.
And Dutugo Mchunu has been invited back to the Springboks training camp as the team continues to prepare for their one-off test against Argentina, as well as rugby's greatest rivalry series against New Zealand. Mchunu was initially dropped from the squad, but he now returns as it increases to 44 players. He's drafted in as cover for Oxenchair, who picked up a knee injury during the Nations Championship win over England at the start of this month. Tola Gelimganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Right, let's get out onto the roads one more time and find out what's happening. Still problems in Benoni, I believe. Karabu Charlie has the details.
Yeah, accident scene, John. This is in Benoni heading towards Brakpan N12 eastbound near Atlas Road. And this is already causing huge delays from Rondebold. Germiston also accident scene N12 westbound before Wits Rifles causing heavy delays from Osborne. Still in Germiston, roadworks also slowing down traffic. N17 eastbound approaching Rondebold. While in Bryanston, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. In Devlin, traffic sluggish heading into Aldo's. That's on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12. And in Mountain View, Pretoria, leaving the CBD, expect some delays on Eskiam Patlele between Vormhagen and the R80. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive. It's now 16 minutes to 4. Still to come on the show. 10 to 5 we'll be chatting to Pitso Musimani. All sorts of interesting things happening around him. Lots of conversation about him. We are looking forward to asking him some questions. I'm not sure whether he'll tell us who's going to be the next coach of Bafana, but it'll be fun asking. He's also, by the way, put out a very interesting manual for youth football coaching, and I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. We have a national action plan for water that was released last week. You may well shrug at best and say, oh, another plan, just what we need. But some plans do lead to things happening. But the water problem is a huge, huge one. Don't know how thick the plan is, but I do know our guest will have plenty of insight into it. Dr. Sean Phillips, Director General at the Department of Water and Sanitation, is with us at 5:10.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So, Tolakela, we've been asking people if they get territorial about anything. This was prompted by me seeing a very interesting looking article about why leopards are territorial. And I get that because, if they're all hunting in the same place, somebody's going to go hungry and somebody's going to get scratched. But we're territorial often for no good reason, although Moses believes he does have a case and says, I'm territorial in the shebeen where I drink. I have my favorite seat or area. Once I go there, and if it's occupied, I get sad. How come they don't know, Moses? They should know. Hey, but that's it. Moses's seat. Do not sit there. Anyway, Moses, you might want to fill us in on why people are not protecting your spot. Tolakela, are you territorial about anything?
Quite a few things. I'm not like Moses. I'm okay when we go clubbing and go to a shebeen. I'm not picky about that. My only thing is, I don't care if the season is over and the football top is 6 years ago.
Yes.
It's mine. I spent money on it. Every once in a while, like my nieces will come over to my house and be like, but you don't wear this anymore. I spent money on that. I'm not giving you my football top for free. Do you know how much I spent on that top? And also, I can always style it differently when different seasons come about. I'm not going to give you that top. I'm very territorial about it.
Speaking of football shirts, I mean, I don't know if this is an example of territorial, but one of the greats of the club you love, Eric Cantona, used to like playing with his collar up. And Liverpool had a very tough centre-back called Neil Ruddock, I think was his name. And he quite subconsciously, knowing he was doing it, dumped Cantona on his butt with a tackle, helped him to his feet and turned his collar down. And and Cantona, it was a famous thing, nearly went ballistic. So maybe people, you're territorial about somebody, maybe they adjust your tie or they try to remove a little piece. You see already, Karabo, we're on a spot here.
It's just
Karabo said nothing bothers him. If I lean in and pick a bit of fluff off your jacket, am I in danger?
No, not at all. You'll be helping me out.
Okay.
John, it's his style. It's how he likes it. You don't have to understand it as a person.
He likes fluff on his jacket.
Maybe he does. You never know.
All right. Let's just see. No, he's good. Check on YouTube, by the way, if you want to see the jacket, and check it for lint or maybe, what else? Simba, that it's dropped, a bit of knick-knack that went astray or whatever. I can assure you he's looking spotless. But seriously, you can watch us on YouTube. Just type in John Perlman 702 Drive live, and you can check out the team and see what we're up to. People posting lovely, lovely, lovely videos of themselves at Walk the Talk. I want to ask you, when you walked through the tunnel at the end of your walk out onto Ellis Park, did you start singing? Because when our colleague Alistair Teeling-Smith, one of the many people who put incredible personal effort into this, and we have to acknowledge them for that, Laura Clancy, Mzor, George Warner, two others who deserve special mention. But he says when he walked into the tunnel, people burst into Shosholoza, and he sent us all a fabulous video of something truly special. Maybe you had a moment like that on Walk the Talk. Please do give us a call and, of course, send us your pics, send us your videos. A day that we won't forget quickly. 12 minutes to 4.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
There are a number of you, I would imagine, and it's something I used to do myself. I used to think, well, why don't you go out and, if you've got to drive a long distance, go out late at night, because the roads are very, very empty. And a lot of fleet companies and trucking companies take the same approach. They figure that there's less traffic, they'll use less petrol, their consignment will get from A to B much, much quickly. But there are some real issues with driving late at night, particularly between 1 and 5 o'clock. And it's the subject of a study by a company called Optics Intelligence. They've been looking at this, what the stats tell us about driving at night, particularly when trucks and fleets are involved. But by implication, I know you may be thinking, I'm not a truck driver, but hey, if you're out on the road, when truck drivers are out on the road, even though the roads are quieter, the perils might be more intense and more specific. Heidi Diacher is head of Optics Intelligence and joins us now. Ms. Diacher, welcome and thanks very much for your time. Is it as simple as saying, well, drivers who are out later at night are probably more tired? Is it that simple? Because somebody might say, well, no, I slept in the afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Well, our statistics has shown us that the dangerous part is really early in the morning. So drivers don't usually leave late at night. They've been working in shifts. So which means if they've continuously driven for quite a few hours, you know, our natural circadian rhythm, that's our sleeping patterns, we're all humans, it's at the peak at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Which means that the drivers will hit their peak at 3 o'clock in the morning, even if they did have their afternoon nap before they left.
So shift work is a part of modern life and has been probably for decades. I mean, can you reset your body clock, or is that always going to be a battle against the circadian rhythm, as you've called it, which says that the human body is programmed to respond to both levels and density of light?
Yes, that is correct. So I don't have any statistics to say that you can go and change that circadian rhythm. What I can tell you is that, you know, there's other factors that play part of that effect that is happening, and that is the fact that it is dark, you know, tedious conditions of having to drive for hours. So there's a lot of factors other than just getting tired that really makes it risky to drive early in the mornings, late at night.
So we've got the truck drivers on one hand. I know somebody who was driving on her own as a single mom with 2 young kids and said, listen, the best way to handle it was bundle them up at midnight, put them off in the back of the car, and then I can drive in perfect peace and quiet. And, you know, if they were going south, for example, you know, we all wake up in Bloemfontein and have breakfast kind of thing. Is this behavior that you think can be changed? You know, when people find an absolute logic in the way they decide to do their journeys, and that could be anyone from a fleet manager to a single mom.
It's careful planning. It's
Yeah.
selecting the route that you are traveling, making sure that on that route you have a few stops to spread, and making sure that you are alert, that you have something to drink in the car, you know, you keep yourself hydrated, and alertness, and that you have the right equipment to travel at night, you know,
Yes.
your headlights are working and so on. So I don't think that pattern's going to change, not for the personal guy who needs to travel out to go and see his family the next day, and also not for fleet companies out there. So the planning is going to be crucial, and that is one of the things that we want to make people more aware of, is that there is sufficient information to prove that there are risks out the road that time of the morning. But we can plan around it to make sure that we provide safety solutions for our drivers so that we can get them home safe.
I'm sure that you guys engage regularly with trucking companies, and they know your work. You know the questions they're going to ask and the answers, and you know, perhaps rationale they're going to offer for the way they do things. How difficult do you find getting your message across in tough economic times? Because, for example, amongst your recommendations, you know, have 2 drivers, one, you know, for the obvious reasons. And people say, well, I'd love to, but you know what? I'm really with the fuel price up against the wall. Do you find that when you are putting hard and unignorable facts in front of people, the cost implications is almost always the answer you get?
Yes, I would like to say that it's not always the answer, but that is a more common response that we're getting. A partnership with our customers is extremely important. So this whole review was actually based on a request from a customer who was doing deliveries for a mining company out in the Mpumalanga area. And they had a horrible incident, and luckily nobody got hurt.
Right.
But he wanted to make his customer aware of the fact of the dangers of having to deliver before 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And that's what sparked going into this review. And then when we started looking at the patterns and what we found, it was extremely interesting. And I love the fact that a customer came and said, come with me and let's help explain to that customer why there's risk and what we need to do so that we can work together and find the best solution to this issue. So I think there are definitely, people are open for options and suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really challenging thing. You know, if we come back to kind of the individual choices people make, Mr. Yaga, we thought of talking about this on Friday, and then we thought, oh my goodness, again, so many people are doing that Friday night thing. You work late because your boss is pushing you to get a deadline finished, and you're a bit insecure about your job, so you stay an extra hour, and then you've promised family you're going to be there to help them first thing Saturday morning to get the spitbraai ready for someone's grade. You know, those are the choices people are making, and they're difficult ones. Do you find as part of the complication is that we all think we're better drivers than we actually are?
Yes. I think we all share the roads together. And you're
Yes.
right. You are referring to the person who actually came from work and a need to travel from a personal capacity. And they're sharing those roads with the commercial fleets out there.
Right.
And the responsibility lies on both sides, because the company takes responsibility of their driver out on the road and making sure that they're trained well, that they're in a fully equipped vehicle to do the travel, and that there's a schedule aligned for it. The personal driver, the consumer who's out on the road with that truck, they also carry their own responsibility to make sure that they are equipped to be able to drive at that time of the night. Things like, for instance, you know, Are they tired? Did they plan their route? Is it light? Is there enough light? And does the vehicle's headlight working? So we each have a responsibility to ourselves and then to each other out on the roads, because a lot of the incidents that we find is not just the person in the vehicle that gets hurt, but it's people with them on the road or on the side of the road that gets impacted at the end of the day.
Thanks so much, Heidi Diache. Check out their report. She's head of optics intelligence at Optics. They've put out a report called Getting You Safely Home. And the subtitle, Night Driving Risks and Circadian Rhythm effects in South Africa. And they've studied this over 12 months. Very, very interesting stuff. Maybe your own experience. I mean, I used to regularly set off at night to go on trips, and then at a certain point I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. But let me be absolutely clear. I have been for some time now in a position to make those choices. And I fully get, leaving aside fleets and fleet management. By the way, if you're in fleet management and you are rethinking some of your nighttime assigning of drivers, please do give us a call and tell us. Maybe the market conditions don't allow you the freedom to make those choices. But also people, you work till late, you've got family waiting for you somewhere in the northern part of Limpopo province or on the Botswana border with Northwest. These are the realities people face. But yeah, it really is challenging. And 51.5% of all road fatalities nationally take place at night, as I understand it. So it's a subject we need to at least explore, even if we can't solve everything. 702 Drive.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Andrea Johnson is continuing with her testimony at the Madlanga Commission this morning as the now former head of IDEC following her resignation. Johnson sent a letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the National Director of Public Prosecutions boss, Andy Mutibi, requesting to step down. Ramaphosa confirmed this morning that he's accepted her resignation with immediate effect. Justice Minister Mamluku Kobai says Johnson will be entitled to her pension according to the country's labor laws.
When a person resigns, that's the end between the relationship between the employer and employee.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Buying a car shouldn't feel like a gamble. That's why every vehicle at Avis Car Sales is fully serviced, low on kilometers, and backed by a manufacturer's warranty, which is honoured at dealerships throughout South Africa. With trade-ins welcomed and finance options available, Avis Car Sales has helped people drive away with confidence for over 40 years. So if you've got questions, they've got answers. Visit aviscarsales.co.za or Avis Car Sales in Centurion, Croydon, Kempton Park, Rivonia, or their new showroom at 100 Puddingstone Road in Centurion. Go there. Do it today.
Dad, how come Mom's not coming to my soccer game?
Well, Mom isn't allowed to come to your soccer games anymore.
Is it because she tried to tackle Coach KB for giving me a red card?
Maybe.
Humans who fiercely protect the people they love. Welcome. Search Liberty Protect to protect your life and legacy today. Liberty, in it with you, all of you. Liberty Group Limited, a licensed life insurer, an authorized FSP and part of the Standard Bank Group. T's and C's, risks and limitations apply.
Big advances in health are happening right here in South Africa. Local researchers are studying a new TB vaccine called M72 that could help stop people from getting seriously ill. And programs like Cochimpilo are helping men living with HIV overcome stigma, start treatment, and stay on it through peer support and private chat guidance. It's South Africans helping shape the future of global health, supported by the Gates Foundation for 25 years. Partners of human potential.
This is EWN.
Madlanga Commission opens criminal case after anonymous witness exposed, and Iran distances itself from reported talks with the US. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin with the latest developments coming from the capital, where the Madlanga Commission will be instituting criminal charges against a person who disclosed the identity of a witness who testified anonymously. Since the Commission began its hearings last September, it's had several witnesses testify anonymously, largely due to fearing for their lives. Marius van der Merwe, who was given the alias of Witness D, was killed last year, a few weeks after giving testimony at the Commission. However, commissioners did not disclose which witness or suspect this pending case relates to. Commission Chairperson Mbuyiseli Madlanga says the disclosing of anonymous witnesses is a criminal offence.
Consequently, the Commission is going to institute criminal proceedings against that person. This is a matter that the Commission takes very seriously, and it simply must act in these circumstances.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says unmanaged migration has the potential to undermine the sovereignty and social order of countries, including South Africa. Ramaphosa has also called for the country's immigration laws to be respected by those seeking asylum or looking at migrating to South Africa. He's called on other African countries to come together in addressing mass migration and the factors that cause it. Ramaphosa was addressing the opening of the first ordinary session of the 7th Pan-African Parliament in Johannesburg earlier today.
South Africa cannot solve this challenge alone. It needs to work together with its sister countries and with the peoples of our continent to address this problem. We have seen how unmanaged migration can undermine the sovereignty, security and social order of countries, not only South Africa but many other countries.
In the courts, the murder case of Delta Park school teacher Kirsten Clates has once again been postponed after the defense abandoned an expert witness's testimony. Bafana Mahungela pleaded not guilty to allegations that he murdered and robbed Clates of her valuables during a park run in Parkmore, Sandton in 2023. He faces 3 charges, including murder, kidnapping and robbery with aggravating circumstances. Proceedings resumed after the matter had initially been postponed to allow the defense to clarify whether an expert witness would testify. Today, the court heard the witness's evidence would no longer be required. When asked by Judge Ian Cox whether the defense was abandoning the witness's evidence, Mahungela confirmed the witness would not testify.
So are you then foregoing his evidence, so he's not going to testify in these proceedings? Is that also correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can he be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sure?
Yes, Your Honor.
Meanwhile, the court also postponed the hearing into a medical report that's the subject of a court order to Wednesday for further trial proceedings linked to it. In the Middle East, Iran's foreign ministry has today said it's not currently involved in negotiations with the United States. In a weekly press briefing, the ministry denied reports today that Tehran had requested talks despite a halt in recent fighting between the two sides. Washington paused its bombing campaign after President Donald Trump's advisors reportedly told him they were running out of targets and expressed worries about depleting the U.S. arsenal. At the same time, the U.S. ambassador to the United States, Mike Waltz, told the U.S. media that Trump paused attacks to allow more time for diplomacy. After 13 nights of intensifying U.S. airstrikes on Iran, the Pentagon suspended the campaign late on Friday with no U.S. attacks reported on either Saturday or yesterday. Iran, which had been following each night of U.S. attacks with its own strikes on neighboring countries that host U.S. bases, has also so far held fire for 2 days. Gold's trading at $4,074.05 an ounce. The rand at 16.77 to the dollar, at 22.31 to the pound, at 19.06 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $90.93 a barrel.
In Benoni, heading towards Brakpan, there's an accident scene N12 eastbound near Atlas Road, causing about an hour delay all the way from the R31 Rietfontein off-ramp. Germiston roadwork still causing delays on the N17 eastbound approaching Rondebolt. And if you're leaving the Joburg CBD heading towards Soweto, traffic heavily backed up on the M1 southbound from Killarney Bends to Poisons Road.
In your sport, Desiree Ellis calls for cool heads as Banyana get their WAFCON campaign underway tonight. Fernando de Cruz is unconvinced by Kaizer Chiefs' Betway Premiership title credentials, and Tadej Pogacar wins his 5th Tour de France title.
A look at your weather. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng. Tomorrow, Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 6 degrees and peak at highs of 19. Pretoria is at 5 and 22 and Vereeniging's at 4, reaching highs of 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The Madlanga Commission will be instituting criminal charges against a person who disclosed the identity of a witness who testified anonymously.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
.702 Drive, the second hour of the show. Welcome. It's great to have you with us. Hope you had a good weekend if you were with us on Sunday. I know I've said this before if you were listening earlier, but let me say it again. If you've just joined, thank you for making it such an utterly memorable, really quite an epic day. And I mean, I kind of as a Joburger feel I know the city really, really well, but of course the city changes and places you go to, you don't always go to there. One of the really wonderful things actually was a lot of coffee shops and restaurants in certain parts of the city were open. So if you are the manager of any of those, people were pumping out the most perfect music for us to walk past to. Really, really good stuff. And speaking of music and walking, our song feature for today will do that at 20 to 6 songs that have walk or walking or walked in the past tense in the title. Please do send us your favorites. Got some good ones already. We could always do with a few more. We asked the question as well a little bit earlier about whether or not you're territorial about anything, and if so, what exactly are you very protective of? It might be your space, it might be the remote control, it might be a particular chair, it might be while you're doing certain things like braaiing. Nobody needs come close and put a log on the fire. Are they checking, testing, questioning your competence as a purveyor of perfectly cooked braai meat? Yeah, I know those feelings. Don't be afraid to share them with us. We will be empathetic. We will not judge. 072-702-1702 if you'd like to join us on that. Coming up on the show, we're going to pick up on that story that Maki Molapo was talking about a moment ago. The Madlanga Commission is very, very much up in arms over somebody who revealed the identity of an anonymous witness, and we're going to try and find out more about that. Thabiso Gorba, as you know, is our man following the commission. He'll update us with everything he's managed to dig up at around 10 minutes to 5. And then the conversation about the funding of South African sport continues. It was very much set in motion by the numbers that were released about how much the Ministry of Sport, Arts and Culture spent on taking people to the World Cup. You'll recall that total was around 31 million rand. Then we had the hockey player Untatile Zulu saying, listen, you know, if she and her teammates are going to get to the World Cup in Belgium next month, males and females, because men and women's team both involved, well, then they're going to have to pay for all sorts of things, their own visas. They have to pay a share of the food. And then the Minister Gayton McKenzie, stepped in and said, okay, here's 3 million for the hockey team. But it continues, and it continues to rumble. And today the focus is on athletics, where 54 young athletes, the future of that sport in our country, due to compete in the World Under-20 Championships, where South Africa have put in epic performances in the past. And we'll name a few of the athletes who've excelled there. But now suddenly money they were expecting and they'd be told they would be getting has not arrived. So we'll explore the implications of that. Wesley Botten is a sports reporter at The Citizen, but somebody who covers athletics closely. He's my guest shortly. It's 10 minutes past 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, Dr. John and 702 listeners. Regarding the night driving, what I used to do, or if I had the option to do it, is to rather sleep and wake up early hours around 4 o'clock. or 3:30, 4, then I leave. I found that that time is better than just coming straight out of work and driving through to Limpopo or those places. Thank you.
Rob from Senton. So 51.5% of fatalities happen at night. Then 48.5% of fatalities happen in the daytime. So you should further correlate winter versus summer because you have far more daylight hours in summer. Do the figures differ? Are they the same? Because frankly, as far as I'm concerned, a 1.5% swing either way is not statistically significant. Honest to goodness, that means nothing. Because far less people travel at night, far less. So you should not have so many accidents at night.
Yeah, food for thought there, Rob. Thanks. I'll have another look at the numbers and perhaps rely on somebody to help me make more sense. The numbers seem to be significant, but the points you make are valid. 12 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's get the latest then. Benoni is still not a good place to be stuck at all.
Yeah.
And some of you are. Karabo Charlie has the details.
Well, I must say the traffic is getting worse. Now you can expect more than an hour delay if you're leaving Benoni heading towards the Brakpan Davidson area. This is on the N12 westbound between the R31 Rietfontein off-ramp and Atlas Road due to an earlier accident. Germiston roadworks also causing delays. N17 eastbound approaching Rondebold. If you're leaving the Joburg CBD heading towards Soweto, traffic heavily backed up on the M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and Boysons Road, while in Bryanston traveling towards Four Ways. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. In Roodepoort, there's also slow-moving traffic on Deckers. This is between Christian de Wet and Sonop. Devland, traffic sluggish on the Golden Highway between the N1 and the N12. And in Pretoria, leaving the CBD, expect some delays in Mountain View on Eskia Mphahlele between Vormhagen and the R80. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could be paying more for medical aid this year, but switch to Outsurance and you could actually drop the price of your car insurance premium. You could save big, like 43-year-old Ilana, who saves an unbelievable 349 Rand a month on her 2022 Suzuki Jimny. There's never been a better time to switch and save with Outsurance. Why wait? Get a quote today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The resignation of IDAC head advocate Andrea Johnson, the president accepting that resignation. Dr. Ngoreni, this almost doesn't come as a surprise, really.
Well, it's not a surprise. It is good she has done it and the president has accepted. She was going to be suspended anyway. It was just a matter of time, given the revelations at the Madlanga Commission. Even though she has resigned, she will continue to testify.
What happens to her now? I mean, does she get a golden handshake and off to the sunset she goes?
There are no golden handshakes in government. There is no such a thing. She'll just get a normal pension like all other public servants. But as far as the sanctions are concerned, with all the complaints against her now, those complaints will be sustained because it doesn't mean that the case goes away merely because she's no longer in that position.
Right.
So there will be consequences.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Drivers, this winter, South Africa's roads can change in seconds. One moment it's clear, next, dense fog blinds your view. Don't drive on memory, drive on visibility. If you can't see clearly beyond 50 meters, pull over safely at the nearest truck stop. Stay alert, stay alive, check your surroundings and inform others. See and be seen. Let's navigate winter roads together. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Transport.
It's Winter Carnival at Food Lovers Market. Save big with pork packs at only $59.99 per kilo. Delicious pork spare ribs at $89.99 per kilo. Large golden bananas at $12.99 per kilo. 3 125-gram punnets of farm fresh blueberries for 50 Rand. And 4 1.5-litre bottles of Coca-Cola Original Taste for just 60 Rand. Valid until Sunday, 2 August, only at Food Lovers Market.
There's so much health information out there, but how do you know what to trust? Catch the Clement Manya teleshow tomorrow from 9 a.m. for Health Matters by Cipla Africa, where we'll be unpacking important health conversations designed to help you better understand your body and well-being. Health Matters by Cipla Africa is a trusted hub, bringing you expert-led health conversations you can trust. Then head to the Prime Media Plus app or primemediaplus.com. Scroll to Prime Media Highlights and watch the latest Health Matters video featuring leading experts and thought-provoking conversations. Or WhatsApp the keyword health to 072 702 1702 and we will send you the link to all the content.
Uncertainty is rising, but your business still has to deliver. Production targets need to be met. And when your workforce is out of balance, the cost is immediate. Too many employees? Costs climb. Too few? Productivity drops. Workforce staffing helps businesses stay in control with flexible workforce solutions, deployed within 48 hours nationwide. When demand changes, your workforce can change with it. Visit workforcestaffing.co.za. Stay productive, stay flexible, stay in control.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
702 Drive. Okay, so this issue around the funding of South African sport and all the politics associated with it continues to run. A very detailed story in News 24 today, pointing out some of the other sports that feel they've been put in a very, very difficult position. Athletics South Africa, through acting president John Matane, who, by the way, was talking to Bongani Bingwa this morning as well. So you can pick up that interview on the Prime Media Plus website. Has been saying that Athletics South Africa has an annual grant for 2026, but they haven't received it yet. Normally they get this in June, and they've written to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture to find out why it is that they haven't actually been paid. What's crucial at the moment for athletics, and this has been on the calendar for probably 4 years, 3 years perhaps, World Under-20 Athletics Championships. Now, we have a team of 54 athletes going. And if you think to yourself, well, you know, the World Under-20 Championships, what's in that for us as a country? Let me give you two names. 2024, Udeme Okon won gold in the 400 meters. He's gone on to have a stellar career. And someone who's put that to work even more dramatically, same World Under-20 Championships, Bayanda Walaza, winner of the 100 meters there, and of course a silver medalist at the Paris Olympics. So it matters. Let's find out what's gone wrong there and ask Wesley Botton, who is sports reporter for the Citizen newspaper, to join us and give us some insights. Wesley, I first heard rumblings about this money problem about 2 months ago. Presumably this is boiling up over a period of time. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, John. I also first heard rumblings a couple months ago, some of the parents reaching out just to sort of try and let people know the situation that they were in. And, you know, back then we weren't sure. And even now, I'm still not quite sure how much Athletics South Africa is actually going to be able to assist and how much the parents are going to have to put in. But it's, like you've already said, I mean, the issue for me is when you know 3 or 4 years in advance that you're going to have to be ready for something, kind of be ready for it, And
Yeah.
I know that Athletics South Africa is saying that they were expecting money from government, but as Gayton McKenzie said recently, I think it might have been earlier this week or last week, he issued a statement saying, government's willing to help, of course.
Yes.
And I feel in some ways they do, and in some ways they can absolutely assist more. But the federations, I think, absolutely, John, they've got to start taking some responsibility here, because essentially it's their mandate at the end of the day to make sure that this team gets there.
Tell us why the under-20 champs matter. I mean, there are 54 athletes going, roughly equal mix of young men and young women. Some of them will go on and be stars, like Bayanda Walaza looks like he will be. Others, probably aren't going to have that kind of career. But is it generally understood that as long as people show promise at this level, you invest? Because if you don't, you're going to get nobody.
Yeah, for sure. And I think more than anything, it's the mentality that you're creating within the athletes. So if you've got you've already mentioned the likes of Udeme Okon and Bayanda Walaza, who got medals at the last World Junior Championships.
Right.
And if we're looking at this one, we've got athletes like Leondak Kukumur in the 400 meters, who is absolutely phenomenal. And we've got Tumi Amakopa running the hurdles, and we can rattle off a list of other 5 or 6 names of athletes who, over the next 3, 4, 5 years, could become global superstars.
Right.
And there are other avenues that can be taken in terms of giving these athletes experience, and some of them have already followed those avenues. So we've had some of them competing at, for example, the African Athletics Championships. We've got the African Games. We've even got the Commonwealth Games on at the moment. And those are all avenues that can be used to give these athletes experience, keep them involved in the sport. But at a young age, when an athlete's sort of 16 or 17 and they've put all the effort in to be able to qualify for an event like this, which is not an easy thing to do.
Right.
It's very, very difficult to qualify for the World Junior Champs. You take that away from them, and I think you're basically saying to them, we're not interested in your development.
Yeah.
And it's got to kind of give them a knock, and they've got to start thinking, is this a chance that I want to take to try and become a professional athlete, which is a very long, difficult road to follow, or do I go another way? And that's the biggest concern for me, is that when you take something like this away from the kids who have worked so hard for it,
right,
what are you saying to them? And are they going to disappear?
I know you made I think the very valid point, Wesley, early on that, yes, there's criticism of government, but in fact, fundamentally, this is on the federations, and they've just got to get better at the part of this bargain that they are meant to deliver. That said, if there is a timetable for payments that ought to flow from government to a sports federation, surely the least they can expect is that they get paid more or less on time.
Absolutely. But I can't speak for the conversations that are happening between government and federations, right? So we're hearing things from government, we're hearing things from the various federations,
right?
And there seems to be some miscommunication there. Perhaps there are delays in the payments. But I'm going to go back to what I was saying, because it's not just athletics that is in this boat.
Right.
The national hockey teams have just had to be bailed out by government in order to get to the World Cup. We've had, for example, the national water polo teams having to crowdfund to be able to get to major championships. And yes, if the government is saying we're going to give you 3 million rand by this date, of course they should be doing that. But I think that we really need to, Gayton McKenzie's not my favorite person in terms of politics, right? He makes a lot of promises. Some of them he fulfills, some of them he does not. But the point that he made in terms of the federations having to stop expecting government to bail them out is completely valid. It really is. If you look at some sports, like I think SA Rugby is a very good example.
Yes.
Of a federation that is able to sustain itself. It doesn't need government assistance. It's created a professional environment from the bottom to the top where it can maintain itself. It doesn't need government. And I'm sure government assistance is helpful
yes.
to SA Rugby, But they're not going to not be able to send the Springboks to the World Cup if the government doesn't assist them.
Thank you so much. Wesley Botten, sports reporter for the Citizen newspaper, acknowledging that the World Under-20 champs are important, that it's a strain on families and athletes, but at the same time saying government can't do everything, can't sort everybody out. Your thoughts? It's a good debate. We'd like to hear your view. 072 702 1702, 25 minutes past 4.
702 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja. 1 to 3 p.m.
How would it manifest as an adult that you would even know you need to reparent certain parts of yourself? Because some people's coping mechanisms of, well, the solution is don't expect anything from anybody. It can be hyper-dependence, but to them it looks like something positive because I don't need nobody.
I think in this case, what looks accessible is a reality that you understand. First, it starts from awareness. You wouldn't just generally know that I have to reparent myself if you don't have a sense of awareness.
Sorry, you need to repeat that again because I think that's such a powerful thing.
Be able to know what you don't have until you recognize it that it's not there.
Annelies Siswana, clinical psychologist and traditional healer.
702 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
This past Sunday, tens of thousands, including, I imagine you, showed up to walk with the people, for our Jozi in the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Thank you for taking the scenic route with us, creating unforgettable memories, and showing the world that Joburg is more than just a city. It's a remarkable energy that connects us all. Here's to Joburg, here's to us, here's to the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
You're up before everyone else. You're building something real. Absa Business Banking, powered by Visa, gives you everything you need to get going. Open a business account in 10 minutes. Buy a point-of-sale device for $799 and get a credit card all in one place. We get it. Running a business is hard. Your banking shouldn't be. Search Business Starter Pack. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic's early spring season features world-class international conductors and soloists performing with our finest musicians. The program includes favorites by Tchaikovsky, Mozart, and more. Thursday evenings at the Linda Auditorium from 13 August to 3 September at 7:30 p.m. Tickets available at Quicket.
EWN Business.
Stephen Krutis, very good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, John. A bit of a creak in my knees this morning. I couldn't tell you where that comes from. I have some thoughts.
Yeah, 15 kilometers worth of thoughts, I would think.
Yes, but
Fabulous
wasn't it great?
walk,
Yeah, no, the family all
Magnificent.
enjoyed it. I mean, I'd say there are no complaints, but teenagers.
Yes.
But no, great. And also, just to see things I hadn't seen for a long time. I used to spend weeks of my life in the CBD as a reporter. And miss it actually, but it was just so good to see so much of it, and so many of the buildings are actually, it's not what you thought.
Yes.
It's something else.
No,
So, yeah.
and lots of food for thought, indeed.
Yes, very much. So Brent crude, a lot better than it was last week, and that, of course, making a big difference for us today, hovering around $90 a barrel. So the JSE Ore Share up 0.58%, 110,030 points. Resources are down nearly 0.6. Industrials are up, though, 1.85, and financials are up nearly 0.5% on the day. And part of that, I think, is because Mondi is up 5.5% on the day. Sun International also up 4%, while Mr. Price
Price and one or two of the other retailers are doing quite nicely. Mr. Price is up 2.72, Pepkor up by over 2.5% as well. And Process recovering, they're up 2.7. Process and Naspers last week, a very tough week for them because of some of the issues around 10 cent. Vodacom is up 2.71 after a strong update from them today. They said their group revenue is up 11% at normalized rates, with revenues in Egypt up nearly 36%. This was a quarterly update to the end of June. In South Africa, though, their revenue only up 1.6%. Service revenue here up 2%. They say that their prepaid performance has improved. And John, that's partly, I think, because of intense competition in prepaid. And so they've been able to sort of make some headway in what's been quite a difficult time for them there. ACI also up 2.5 and Investec up 2.5 as well. Some of the energy shares down a bit. Thungela and Glencore, both in coal in this case. Glencore down 5. Thungela down 5. Glencore down 3.41 rather. Exxaro down 2.66 and Sasol down 2%. While Telkom is down 1.92. Now, John, I would need to go more deeply into this, so this is just a sort of off the top of my head thought. But Telkom has been doing very well in the prepaid space. Vodacom seems to be making inroads there, and that might be one of the reasons we're seeing this at the moment. We'll look and investigate that a bit further. In the US, the indices opening higher, mainly because not that peace is breaking out between the US and Iran, but because things are looking a little better. There's also a huge amount of earnings data, and we've got an interest rate decision in the US as well. The Dow Jones is up 0.79%. The Nasdaq is up 0.38%. The S&P 500 is up 0.39% at the moment. The gold price, $4,067.75 an ounce. Platinum, $1,622.50. And Brent crude at $90.43 a barrel. The rand to the dollar, 16.75, a little better than last week, not by much. To the pound, 22.30, and to the euro, 19.05. I'll creak back in an hour. Stephen Crotus, EWN Business.
Call you Eyewitness Knees, maybe. Stephen Crotus joining us with an update at 25 minutes past 5. At 28 minutes to 5, the real Eyewitness News. Here's Marky Mulapo.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Eastern Cape Judge President Selbin Benenge, who has been on special leave since 2023 after allegations that he sexually harassed a junior secretary at the court, is facing formal suspension. This after the Judicial Service Commission unanimously resolved to advise President Cyril Ramaphosa to suspend Benenge now that he had been found guilty of gross misconduct. Parliament is preparing to consider proceedings that could ultimately lead to his removal from office. Court Secretary Andy Swamengo lodged the complaint, alleging that the judge engaged her in unwanted sexualized communications between 2021 and 2022. The Commission says the move is aimed at protecting the integrity and credibility of the judiciary while the constitutional process unfolds. Anelita Fandese has more.
The Judicial Service Commission says the suspension is not intended as punishment, but as a precautionary step to safeguard the integrity, dignity, and public confidence in the judiciary while the constitutional process runs its course. Benenge opposed the suspension, arguing that he's already on special leave approved by the Chief Justice and is therefore not carrying out any judicial duties. He also argued that his application to review the JSC's gross misconduct finding should be resolved before any suspension is considered. However, the JSC says its gross misconduct finding remains valid unless set aside by a court. The Commission's recommendation now goes to President Ramaphosa, who will decide whether to formally suspend Benenge pending the outcome of the parliamentary removal process. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
In the Western Cape, policing has been beefed up at some Cape Town communities where gun violence has claimed at least 15 lives since Friday. In the early hours of this morning, 4 men and 1 woman aged between 19 and 23 were killed in Gugulethu. The police's Andre Chart.
The Acting Provincial Commissioner of the Western Cape Police, Major General Luyanda Damoy, has strongly condemned the senseless act of violence and has directed that every available resource be utilised to bring those responsible to justice. Additional operational members have also been deployed in the area to prevent any further violence.
Trout says they're also investigating a shooting in Stellenbosch's Kayamandi settlement where 4 people were shot dead and 4 others, including 2 police officers, were wounded yesterday. The officers were already in the area attending to a crime scene where a man was shot and killed.
Detectives from the Provincial Serious and Violent Crime Unit are leading the investigation, while crime scene experts work through the night gathering evidence. A 9mm firearm was recovered at one of the scenes, and will undergo forensic examination.
At the same time, a 72-year-old woman was wounded in a shooting in Mannenberg last night, but 2 men were killed, as the police's Wesley Twig explains.
According to reports, the victims were approached by unknown suspects who opened fire on them before fleeing the scene. The motive for the attack forms part of the police investigation.
The police are also investigating a triple murder in Khayelitsha's Site B on Friday afternoon. And German luxury sports car maker Porsche plans to cut a total of 9,000 jobs by 2035. This as parent company Volkswagen and its brands restructure in the face of weak demand and stiff competition. In a deal announced after months of negotiations, Porsche management and labor representatives agreed to 5,000 additional job cuts that avoid compulsory redundancies through measures like natural attrition and voluntary schemes. These measures follow a first package of 3,900 job cuts and another 500 announced by new CEO Michael Laters earlier this year, linked to the closure of subsidiaries. On becoming CEO at the start of the year, Reuters reports that Laters was tasked with overhauling the business after sales in Porsche's once highly lucrative China market collapsed and its EV strategy stalled. Other German car makers, including Mercedes-Benz and BMW, are also cutting costs as they navigate the shift to electric vehicles in a race with Chinese rivals while absorbing the impact of high tariffs. A look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 4 and 6 degrees and peak at highs between 19 and 22 degrees.
In Benoni, the N12 East is closed off to traffic. This is approaching Tom Jones due to an earlier serious accident. There's an emergency chopper on the highway. So at this stage, traffic is completely at a standstill. You can expect more than a 2-hour delay all the way from Jade Park, so avoid that route if you're heading towards Davidson. Germiston roadwork still causing delays. N17 eastbound approaching Rondebolt.
The top story in Eyewitness News, Eastern Cape Judge President Selbin Benenge, who has been on special leave since 2023 after allegations that he sexually harassed a junior secretary at the court, is facing formal suspension.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
I've been looking at the testimony of the head of IDAC, Ms. Johnson. I can't help but feel like the establishment of IDAC was for nothing other than political reasons. Questions that are posed to her, the lack of response, and more specifically, the issue of Fadil Adams. How it is now becoming apparent that much of the charges he laid against certain members of the intelligence were fed to him by people from IDAC.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Remember the first time your soul felt alive, or the last time music moved you so deeply you didn't want it to end. That feeling is calling you back. You're officially invited to come experience soulful performances from global icons Kamasi Washington, Temba and Africa Mkhize, Nubia Garcia, Ibrahim Malouf, Judith Sapuma, Angelique Kidjo, Double Zulu, Melanie Skoltz, Floetry, Tandiswa Mazwai, and 40 other world-class acts. 4 incredible stages of the Sandton Convention Centre. One unforgettable experience at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, 25th to 26th September. This is Jazz Reignited. Get your weekend pass now via Ticketmaster.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent-A-Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Insurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's JC from Blonde Hair Studio.
I was with my previous insurer for many years before switching over to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm really happy with the premium I'm paying now, and switching was definitely one of the best decisions for my business.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Dr. John, good afternoon and the team. Paul in Randfontein. We have a daughter down in Cape Town And we've had near misses, accidents, and even believing that we were being tailed by unscrupulous people. And last month, June, we decided not to drive anymore. We normally used to drive. And last month, we decided not to drive, but take the bus because of the prohibitive prices of flying. And we really enjoyed it. We arrived there refreshed. We came back, and then the very next day, we were ready for work. But yeah, night driving has its own risks. There are truck drivers, there are people that drive their own private cars that do not do what you expect them to, and they pose risks to other people. Lovely show as always.
Good afternoon, 702 lenders. This is Maboki from Bracken Downs. I just want to say wow concerning the walk the talk yesterday. Everything was so well organized. You know, we walked through the city. Some of us grew up doing shopping in the city, but now we are not going there anymore. You know, it brought so many memories. And I want to say shout out to the Gauteng staff, shout out to the Prasa staff, shout out to the officers, shout out to the queue marshals. You know, everything was just well prepared, well done. Hi, but the bags that you gave us, those Woolworth bags, guys, we get the backpacks so that we can be able to walk freely without having to hold that handbag nyana there, such a smaller nyana inconvenience. But all in all, well done. And I've been doing this for more than 20 years. So yes, well done 702. And thank you so much for such a beautiful occasion.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being part of it. Really enjoyed hearing from you there, Maboki. And thank you for, the feedback, because those details are critical. And your point that a bag in your hand versus a bag on your back, very, very useful indeed. And we'll have a close look at how we can do that differently next year. Your walk the talk, thoughts, highlights, things you'd like us to do better, whatever is on your mind, call us 072 702 1702 18 to 5.
EWN Sport.
So, Desiree Ellis is making sure that her players tonight, Tolakele, are not complacent, I believe.
Absolutely, John, and she's warned them against underestimating a Tanzania side who've never won a WAFCON game. That's when the two nations meet in the tournament tonight. This year's edition will see the winner walking away with the record $2 million prize money, while qualification for next year's World Cup is guaranteed for the semi-finalists. And with such incentives on the line, Ellis says there's no room for error.
We've played them a couple of times. The games have always been tight. You know, they can play, but they also bring the physicality. Played a lot against teams over the last year and a half that are physical. So we've prepared extremely well in that way. We also looked at some footage and analysed them as well, and been working on certain things to make sure that we can, get the game plan going and players can execute the game plan to get a positive result.
Fernando de Cruz has played down expectations for Kaizer Chiefs this season as he insists they cannot challenge for the Betway Premiership League title. They wrapped up their pre-season preparations with the 1-0 win over Scotland FC in the Toyota Cup, and with the 2026-27 campaign getting underway on Saturday, de Cruz, speaking through a translator, discussed what the club can achieve.
He says for the moment no, that we search offensive options, but when we will have our entire squad, we can assess if we are able to challenge other team to win the title in PSL and also to have a good way in CAF Confederation.
On the transfer front, Soweto rivals Orlando Pirates have completed the signing of striker Sebastian Penderson on a 2-year deal. The Norwegian joins after scoring 59 goals in 166 appearances for various clubs in his homeland. While in Europe, Andrea Pirlo is no longer in contention to become Italy's head coach. That's after his commercial links to a Russian betting company drew criticism and opposition to his potential appointment. The World Cup winner was a leading candidate to replace Gennaro Gattuso. That's after Pep Guardiola turned down the job. And Tadej Pogacar has won a record-equaling 5th Tour de France title after the final stage ended in Paris. The Slovenian star joins 4 other men, including Eddie Merckx, to win 5 Tour titles to their name. Pogacar won 5 stages at this year's race to move to 26 overall, and he clinched the title 6 minutes and 26 seconds ahead of Remco Evenepoel.
So I will just enjoy the moment, not thinking about any history, about any clubbing or whatever. I just want to live this moment, come back home and relax and enjoy small things of in life as well. So yeah, I'm really happy and proud to win the 5th tour, but every single one of them has different story, different meaning and different emotions.
Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 4:45, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Karabo, Benoni.
Yeah. Not looking good at all, John. If you are leaving Benoni heading towards Davidton, the N12 eastbound remains closed off to traffic. That's before Tom Jones due to an earlier serious accident. At this stage, we still have that emergency chopper on the highway, so please be patient. Traffic is completely at a standstill. At this stage, expect more than a 2-hour delay all the way from Jet Park Road. Northcliffe, traffic congested on Bayers Nodia between Judges and the N1. Bryanston, still bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. Poles off, also slow-moving traffic on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven, while in Rudeport, there's expect some delays on Deckers between Christian de Wet and Sonop, while in Pretoria, heading towards Linwood, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is in the Waterkloof area, N1 northbound between the R31 Flying Saucer Interchange and Linwood Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 94. I ran out of petrol and had to push my car to the petrol station. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
702 Drive Commonwealth Games underway at the moment, and South Africa's backstroke swimming star Peter Coetzee has been very, very successful in the pool, and he's said some very interesting things afterwards.
It can be hard when you have a good race to not get stuck there and keep thinking about the race and things like that. And same thing if you have a bad race. Yeah, I have to kind of have short-term memory loss, like Ted Lasso says, because when something goes wrong, you kind of have to just move on and forget about it. And I think it's the same when it goes well. It's easy to live in the past and not be fully focused and present for your next few races. So enjoy the moment like I am right now, but then let it go. And after the week, you can let it all sink in.
Yeah, so Ted Lasso, many of you will have watched the show. I'm sure it's about an American who, under very surprising circumstances, finds himself coaching a Premier League team. It's an Apple TV show. And Peter Coetzee there was saying, following Ted Lasso, I'm just going to have short-term memory loss. Precisely what Ted Lasso says in talking to his players. He said, you know what the happiest animal on earth is? It's a goldfish. You know why? Got a 10-second memory. Be a goldfish. So, do you quote lines from movies just because you like them and you like the way they sound? Like maybe when you come out of a night of revelry or whatever where you've perhaps behaved badly and you say, well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's not really advice. It's just a little phrase that you use. But have you ever heard somebody say something in a movie or a TV series and actually thought, you know what? That's a really good way of looking at that. I think I'm going to file it away and use it as a piece of advice. Anything in the Tholakele Mganga script of how to live a happy and fruitful and successful life that's actually come from a movie?
It's actually from a series, Love Island specifically. Whenever me and my friends have little squabbles and it gets that awkward silence. So there was this part where after one of their favorite contestants was voted off, Tom literally went, does anybody want me to rap? Maybe we'll all feel comfortable after that. So whenever it's awkward, I was like, do you guys want me to sing? Because and they all hate my singing. So I always know that will make everybody laugh. And then it's okay, now we can kind of sort of get back to normal after that.
So So the circumstance you use it in, something's awkward and you step in with an alternative that's way worse. But they kind of know you're also saying,
Yes.
hey guys, okay,
Cause
let's close this up.
Because we also have a friend that is very, 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 very bad at comforting everybody. So there's this one time a friend of ours was crying, and then she looked at me, and then I looked at her, and then she was like, "You're the one that knows how to be emotional. Help her." So ever since then, I was like, I'm just gonna use that line, and then everybody's like just feels comfortable.
Does anybody want me to sing? I might try that. Okay, so how about you, Karabo Charlie?
Yeah, mine is from Shawshank Redemption. It was Andy, and he was talking to his prison mate, which is Morgan
Who's
Freeman.
Andy, the main
character?
yeah,
Yes, just forgot his real name. And he was talking to, and he says,
Tim Robbins.
Yes, get busy living or get busy dying. So this is just simple. Hope is a choice. So it's either you're going to live your best life, hoping, dreaming, learning, taking chances, or just give up and wait for that day where the Lord calls you.
Okay. So I can't help feeling, I've mentioned this before, but anyway, here goes. So, TV show called, and now my mind's gone blank about the name of the TV show. Oh my goodness. Boardwalk Empire. Thank you, Jonathan Fairbairn, coming in on my headphones, reminding me. So it's set in the Prohibition era, a whole lot of gangsters. Some of them are real and well-known. Al Capone is played in that. And this guy's a guy called Nucky Thompson, who's a politician who's also a crook. Completely unrealistic, I know. But anyway, he is getting attacked from all sides. And he is, people are stealing his liquor that he's they're stealing his money, they're shooting at his guys and so on. And he's talking to a guy called Arnold Rothstein, who is a real life gangster in history. And he says I don't know what, this is happening, I don't know what to do. And Rothstein says to him, you do nothing. You have no move. And I have found that incredibly useful because I've often found myself in this panicky situation. Maybe I should phone him and ask him, where's the money or whatever, whatever it is. And sometimes it just doesn't help. So what you have to do is sometimes do nothing. You have no move, which doesn't mean you will never have a move. Just means right now you have no move that'll work. I find that very calming. So lines from TV series, lines from movies. Mine is from Boardwalk Empire. We've got something from Love Island, and Shawshank Redemption has provided wisdom that has been very useful to Karabo Charlie. So if you got one, give you a call. Mike in Benoni has this. Quite frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Is that from Gone with the Wind? I think it is. Anyway, please keep sending those on 072 702 1702. And another Mike, but this one who calls himself Michael, so we'll go with Michael, has got a great one. This is from Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner, and says, if you build it, he will come. They will come, I think is the one. If you build it, they will come. Give us a ring on 072 702 1702. It is 7 minutes to 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Well, the Madlanga Commission certainly isn't a movie, but boy, is it compelling to watch. But now there are real problems for somebody, and we don't know exactly who, because they're facing criminal charges because of something they did in relation to the commission. And I think when the Madlanga Commission decides that they're going to prosecute you and go after you, I think you ought to take it very, very seriously indeed. You've definitely been put on terms. So what's going on? Tabiso Goba, as you know, is our man who's been following the commission. He's with us now. Tabiso, what happened? We know from Maki Mulapo updating us that it is all to do with a witness whose identity was not meant to be disclosed. But tell us more. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. As you said, it was just a bit of a side matter that was raised by the commission that there was someone who disclosed the identity of a witness who testified anonymously here at the Madlanga Commission. You'll understand, obviously, John, that there has been several people who testified anonymously here at the Madlanga Commission. And I would say that, some of these people, especially us in the media who cover it, some of these people are known to us, but we obviously have a duty, not just a duty, but also a legal responsibility not to disclose their names. And obviously this person, whoever it is, will now obviously see the full might of the law once the Madlaga Commission obviously opens those criminal charges, and we expect that the matter will be public. But in terms of the other major talking point here, John, it relates to something very important was actually established today in terms of the fact that there was a senior IDAC investigator who allegedly fabricated a witness statement. So you remember that, John, in November 2024, that is when the National Coloured Congress Member of Parliament, Fadil Adams, that's when he made that sworn affidavit to IDAC, alleging corruption, the hiring of an inexperienced person at crime intelligence. So that complaint was made in November 2024. However, that complaint was very short on detail. And what happened is that there was an order that, some of the senior IDAC investigators, they must go to Fadil Adams and get supplementary affidavits just so, they can sort of beef up this case that they were building against crime intelligence. So on the 6th of January, there were 3 IDAC officials who went to Cape Town to get statements from Mr. Fadil Adams. Now, they came back, John, with 8 different statements. There were 4 statements that were written and commissioned by one prosecutor and by one investigator. And then there was 4 other statements that were written and commissioned by Mr. Dylan Perrimal. He's the senior IDAC investigator. So now what has happened is that the prosecutor and the other investigator, they sent voice notes to the Madlaga Commission saying that those 4 statements that we've seen from Mr. Perrimal, we don't know those statements. They were not commissioned in our presence. And they've also added, John, that it is impossible that Mr. Perrimal could have commissioned these statements outside of our knowledge, because when we were there in Cape Town and when we were talking to Mr. Fadil Adams, we all did it together. So it is impossible that he could have got a different version that we have. And that was something that is very, very interesting because, one, these statements from Mr. Perrimal, they've been submitted to the Madlaga Commission, but also more importantly, John, in this matter that involves Mr. Dimsane Kumaro, the head of crime intelligence, that's currently before court, those statements were also submitted to court as evidence. So if there is obviously a case that Mr. Perrimal may have fabricated a witness statement and submitted it both to the Madlaga Commission and in an ongoing criminal matter, you can then imagine the kind of serious consequences that he's currently facing. So, but that is something that over the next couple of days, it will be something that the Madlaga Commission will be probing. That investigator and that prosecutor who sent those voice notes disavowing those statements from Mr. Perrimal, they are expected to be testifying at the Madlaga Commission this week.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Boy, 2 important developments today at the Madlaga Commission of Inquiry. Updates, I'm sure, in the news bulletins on the hour and on the half hour. The next one is up in about 2 minutes' time. It's 2 minutes to 5.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
If you have an unresolved dispute involving your bank, insurer, pension fund or financial advisor, you can complain to a financial ombud for free. South Africa's financial ombud system, overseen by the Ombud Council, provides free, fair and impartial dispute resolution. Whether it's through the National Financial Ombud, the Phase Ombud or the Pension Fund's adjudicator, help is available. Visit ombudcouncil.org.za for more info.
That's Kefense, before she got naked. Kefense's premium went up twice last year, and she was more confused than when her ex said, "I need to find myself," and then found somebody else. So Kefense got naked. She got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Good for you, Kefense. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Lines from movies that fit with your life. Listen to Tandanani as someone approaching 50, growing a little more stoic with each passing day. One line from a movie which has stood the test of time for me, which also happens to be its title, was spoken by Jack Nicholson when he asked, "What if this is as good as it gets?" A question not just about the film and its title, Tandanani says, but about life itself. Thank you. Coming up on 702 Drive, South Africa has a national water action plan. Just another plan, or is this a real roadmap with real signposts, real road markers that tell you how far you've gone and how far you have to go? In other words, might it actually work? We'll talk to the DG of Water and Sanitation, Dr. Sean Phillips, at about 10 past 5. Right now it is 5 o'clock. It's news time.
This is EWN.
NPA head orders withdrawal of charges against SAP's crime intelligence head and others, and former IDAC head concludes day 4 testimony with more questions than answers. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. The National Director of Public Prosecutions has ordered that charges against 8 accused in the high-profile Brooklyn Police Station corruption case be withdrawn before plea. This pending the completion of further investigations. A few weeks ago, IDAC instructed Crime Intelligence Major General Nosipho Precious Madondo and Lieutenant General Dumsane Khumalo to report to Brooklyn Police Station, claiming warrants had been obtained in relation to an investigation concerning security clearances. NDPP decision follows legal representations by the accused and comes after prosecutors concluded that the investigation is not yet complete. Annalita Fandese has more.
National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Andy Mutibi, has directed that charges against Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo and 7 co-accused be withdrawn before plea in the Brooklyn Police Station corruption case. In a letter to the accused legal representatives, Mutibi says the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption has advised that further investigative work is still required before a proper prosecutorial decision can be made. Mutibi also stresses that the matter may not be re-enrolled and no fresh decision to prosecute may be taken without his express written approval. He adds that if investigators ultimately recommend criminal prosecution, once the investigation is complete, the accused will first be given an opportunity to supplement their legal representations before any review of the decision to prosecute is considered. Annalita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
In the capital, the former head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, Andrea Johnson, has failed to explain whether IDAC has the mandate to probe security clearances at SAP's crime intelligence. Johnson has faced another grilling at the Madlanga Commission this afternoon. She's been questioned over allegations she misused her power to pursue baseless criminal cases against senior crime intelligence officers. Tabiso Goba has more.
In November 2024, National Coloured Congress Member of Parliament Fadil Adams laid a complaint to IDAC relating to alleged manipulation of security vetting processes and the subsequent unlawful issuing of security clearances at SAP's crime intelligence. A few months later, as the head of IDAC, Andrea Johnson authorized a summons order which requested the security clearances and vetting files of 7 senior crime intelligence officers. Johnson says at the time there was reasonable suspicion to believe fraud was taking place in how the security clearances were being issued.
Why would the fast tracking of a security clearance or vetting constitute a serious crime of corruption that falls within 71A?
I hear you, Commissioner Baloy. I can't take it further than the point that you've made.
Johnson returns tomorrow. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
In the courts, Judge Karim Musa has refused an application by accused number 5 Ntabiseng Zama to be excused from attending parts of the trial of alleged underworld figure Vusmusi Ket Matlala. Zama had asked the Johannesburg High Court to excuse her from evidence unrelated to the 3 money laundering charges she faces, arguing that her daily attendance was harming her studies. Matlala and his 4 co-accused are facing a combined 25 charges, including attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud and money laundering. In his ruling, Judge Musa said Section 159 of the Criminal Procedure Act allows an accused to be absent only in limited circumstances. Nzama's application did not meet the legal threshold, he found, adding that none of the concerns brought forward by her legal team were raised during the lengthy pre-trial process. He ordered Nzama to be present in court throughout the trial.
Having read the documents filed of record, heard counsel, and having considered this matter, the following order is made. It is ordered that the application for the relief to be granted in terms of Section 159, subsection 2BB of the Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977 is hereby refused. Thank you.
And finally, the Angolan Kwanza has officially been introduced into the SADC real-time gross settlement system, meaning the currency can be used for cross-border payments and transactions. The Southern African Development Community has taken another step towards deeper regional financial integration, marking the first new currency to join the platform since it launched more than a decade ago. The announcement was made today by Governor Lesetja Kganyago, who also chairs the SADC Committee of Central Bank Governors alongside Banco Nacional de Angola Governor Manuel Tiago Diaz. Kganyago says the move strengthens regional financial integration and encourages greater use of African currencies in cross-border trade.
The introduction of the Angolan Kwanza as a settlement currency advances the region's multi-currency vision. It shows that regional currencies can do more. It can facilitate trade, it can reduce reliance on vehicle currencies, and support more direct settlement within SADC.
Gold's trading at $4,073.96 an ounce. The rand's at 16.74 to the dollar, at 22.26 to the pound, at 19.03 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $90.43 a barrel.
Benoni, we're still dealing with that serious accident scene. N12 eastbound approaching Tom Jones Highway, closed off to traffic. There was a chopper there earlier on. Traffic is currently at a standstill. You can expect more than an hour delay all the way from Jet Park Road. In the Joburg CBD, there's also heavy delays on the M1 southbound from Corlett Avenue to the Crown Interchange due to an earlier accident near the Crown Interchange.
In your sport, Banyana looking to get their WAFCON campaign off to a winning start against Tanzania. Fernando de Cruz calls for attacking reinforcement as the 2026-27 PSL season looms. And the All Blacks name their 44-player squad for rugby's greatest rivalry series.
A look at your weather. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 6 degrees and peak at highs of 19. Pretoria is at 5 and 22. Vereeniging's at 4, reaching highs of 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The National Director of Public Prosecutions has ordered that charges against 8 accused in the high-profile Brooklyn Police Station corruption case be withdrawn before plea.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, good to have you with us. It's 8 minutes past 5. How's your Monday been? Anyone a little stiff from the walk? I'm sure whatever stiffness you might be feeling is more than compensated for what I think was a truly fabulous day out in the center of Johannesburg. A lot of you are sending us wonderful, wonderful pictures. Thank you for those. And of course, thank you so much for joining us on the day. Rosie says, thanks for the experience. I use Gauteng for the first time free with lots of ease in the free. I cruised nicely to and from the event. Gautrain was terrific. PRASA were fabulous on the day as well. Please do keep them coming. We cannot see enough of your pictures and hear enough of your recollections. A lot of you as well sharing with us movie lines. We asked you about not just lines you like and remember and kind of throw off the cuff, but actually things that contain some wisdom, perhaps some advice that you might take to heart. It could come from a movie, and it certainly could come as well from a TV series. It's up to you. Do send them to us. Mulibatsi quotes Anthony Hopkins from Silence of the Lambs and says, no man can opt out of his story. Very true indeed. One to think about. 9 minutes past 5. We've got plenty more movie lines coming from you. but also some serious stuff coming up on the show. South Africa now has a new national water action plan. We do know that we have a national water crisis made up of all sorts of things, scarcity of H2O, but also problems moving water from the place where the water is safely and without losing 50% of it or anything around that number or any amount of water losses. Our losses are absolutely alarming. The National Water Action Plan is meant to deal with all of that. Dr. Sean Phillips is Director General in the Department of Water and Sanitation. He's my guest shortly. This is 702 Drive.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John and the team. I hope you are well as your listeners. Yesterday was my first walk the talk. I'm so grateful that my sister talked me into doing it. She not only talked me into doing it, but as well as the entire family. So it was our parents, myself, my daughter, my two brothers, and my nephew. And as a first-time mom, I think the only hiccup that I had was like the changing stations for the little ones. And I was a little bummed that she also didn't have a t-shirt. So all the adults had t-shirts, but there was no t-shirt for her, and she's only like one. I think it would have been amazing for her to have also had a t-shirt. But other than that, it was a truly amazing experience. Look forward to doing it again next year. Thank you.
Hi, Tata John. So my son always asks me when he gets home, he goes, Mom, what can I do while I wait for you to come back home? What are we going to do when you get back home? And I always say, same thing we do every day, my baby. Try to take over the world. That's from Pinky and the Brain. But I think when I meet someone and they're like, let me take you out on a date, where they're asking, when am I seeing you? I'm going to be like, show me the money. So that's one that I just thought of now.
From the movie Heat, don't link yourself to anything that you are not able to detach yourself in 3 seconds flat. Robert De Niro in Heat, Clive Victoria.
Afternoon, John. For me, it's a quote from the great debaters. We do what we have to do so that we can do what we want to do. When I don't feel like doing anything, I remind myself of that.
Wow, lots of great lines there. Show me the money. Someone getting a little Jerry Maguire at the end of a voice note as an afterthought. Lovely stuff. Thank you for the thought about changing stations. I'm sure that's something we could tighten up on and make sure those are more easily available. So, yeah, please keep those suggestions coming. We're noting every single one. Before we know it, it'll be Walk the Talk 2027 and plenty we can do. And brilliant one from Clive there. Thank you. What? Don't attach yourself to anything from which you cannot detach yourself in 3 seconds flat. From Heat. What a film that was. 702 Drive, it's 13 minutes past 5. Later in the show, and staying with the Walk the Talk theme, we are going to be asking you to send us your songs that have references either to walk or walking, not to talking. There's got to be walk or walking. We do enough talking, but that's our music theme. Here's one to get you started from Craig David. Just one of a number of songs that have walk or walking in there. We're getting some Johnny Cash, which I'm looking forward to playing, and there's plenty more besides. Kanye West also featuring in some of your suggestions. 14 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. And still, we are in Benoni, and still the traffic is not moving. Karabo Chale, what's up?
Yes, John. Still heading towards Benoni. That's leaving the Germiston area. You can still expect more than an hour delay. This is on the N12 eastbound between Croft Road and Atlas Road due to an earlier accident. Some good news is that some of the lanes have been reopened and the chopper has left the scene. But then as a result, traffic is also heavily backed up. Expect about a 30-minute delay on Atlas Road between Pretoria Road and Griffiths. In Kempton Park, there's also about a 20-minute delay heading into Tembisa on Zierfontein Road between Orange Rivier and Allendale. Cleveland, traveling towards Germiston, accident scene. M2 eastbound before Cleveland Road, causing heavy delays from George Koch. In the Joburg CBD, heading towards Soweto, traffic also heavily backed up. M1 southbound from Corlett Avenue all the way to the Crown Exchange due to an earlier accident. Also, as a result, coming from Germiston, traffic is heavily backed up on the M2 westbound all the way from Heidelberg Road, Rudderpoort, slow-moving traffic. This is on Deckers between Golf Club Terrace and Sonop. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
15 minutes watching the World Cup highlights goes by quickly, but 15 minutes stuck in traffic feels like torture. Fortunately, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the day. These heroes in green and purple have been easing traffic congestion for the past 20 years. The Outsurance pointsmen, helping everyone get where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using #PointsmenLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja. 1 to 3 p.m.
How would it manifest as an adult that you would even know you need to reparent certain parts of yourself? Because some people's coping mechanisms of, well, the solution is don't expect anything from anybody. It can be hyperdependence, but to them it looks like something positive because I don't need nobody.
I think in this case, what looks accessible is a reality that you understand. First, it starts from awareness. You wouldn't just generally know that I have to reparent myself if you don't have a sense of awareness.
Sorry, you need to repeat that again because I think that's such a powerful thing.
Be able to know what you don't have until you recognize it, that it's not there.
Annelies Siswana, a clinical psychologist and traditional healer.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Thinking about studying but waiting for the right time? With Richfield's online qualifications designed to fit around your life, the right time is now. But you better hurry because their mid-year applications close soon. Whether you're working, changing careers, or ready to level up, you can choose degrees and diplomas in business and IT, as well as a prestigious online MBA. Plus, you can study online from anywhere. Applications close soon, so apply today at richfield.ac.za. Richfield, your future enriched.
Hi, this is Michael Owen, Hollywood Bets brand ambassador. Being a champion, I know the best performances come from making the right decisions on and off the pitch. Enjoy the game, enjoy the excitement, but play responsibly. Gambling responsibly is about staying in control, so you can enjoy it your way. If you or someone you know needs support, help is always available. Call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counselling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
You can become a victim of a legal problem. Wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
John Perlman.
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
19 minutes past 5 on 702 Drive. Let's talk water and talk about the just published National Water Action Plan. There are so many issues that need dealing with. I need not remind all of you or any of you of the kind of crisis that comes up with water provision in South Africa, off a baseline, of course, that we actually don't have enough of this stuff. Let's welcome to 702 Drive then Dr. Sean Phillips, Director General in the Department of Water and Sanitation. Dr. Phillips, welcome and thanks very much for your time. A National Water Action Plan is a vast document, I would imagine, certainly in its scope. I don't know how long it is, but there is so much that needs doing. What needs doing first, or does everything need to be started at more or less the same time?
Good afternoon, John, and good afternoon to your listeners too. The National Water Action Plan is a strategic document. It's deliberately not completely comprehensive. It's the plan of the Water Crisis Committee, which is chaired by the President. It's a cabinet committee. So the President and that cabinet committee can't focus on everything. They need to be strategic and focus on the most important key issues which are going to result in change and improvement.
Okay, so let's focus in then on those key issues. If I'm not mistaken, a deadline or a timeline that takes us to 2030. Key things that you're going to start with.
Yes, thank you, John. In your introduction, you said that we don't have enough water. Actually, currently, as a country, we have enough raw water. In other words, water which hasn't yet been treated to meet the demand. So agriculture is getting enough water for irrigation. The major industries like Eskom and Sasol are getting enough water. And there is enough water to supply to municipalities as well. The problem is, the biggest problem is the municipal water distribution systems. So most of the municipalities buy water from the water boards, treated water, and the water boards are providing enough water to the municipalities, but the key challenge is that such a high percentage of that water that's provided is lost through leaks in the municipal distribution systems. So addressing that is the biggest priority in the National Water Action Plan. The root cause is the institutional and financial and governance arrangements in municipalities. Revenue from the sale of water is not ring-fenced for the water function. So many municipalities are currently in a vicious downward spiral where they have very high levels of non-revenue water. Nationally, the average non-revenue water is about 50%,
yes,
which means that the municipalities have to buy water from the water boards or pay to produce it themselves, and then they don't get any revenue on half of it. And then over and above that, the municipal councils can vote for part of the revenue that they do get to be used for other purposes, which means that there isn't nearly enough money for proper maintenance of the municipal water distribution system. And in growing areas like our urban areas, there isn't enough money to invest more in the distribution system and build more reservoirs and pump stations, for example.
Yeah, I mean, let's say we solve that financial issue and the money's ring-fenced and a much deeper and dedicated and carefully protected fund is created. That in and of itself, would you agree, doesn't guarantee that proper maintenance will be done. Do we have the expertise? Do we have the institutional integrity to actually make sure that, let's say, money, 100,000 Rand is allocated to fix something, is actually paid over, A, to somebody who actually will fix it and knows how to fix it, but secondly is going to be inspected by somebody who knows what to look for to make sure that the job has been done?
Yes, the changes that are part of the National Water Action Plan are aimed at addressing this issue of ring-fencing of revenue from the sale of water, but there's also other important changes which will help to address these other things that you're mentioning. So, for example, it's not only revenue that needs to be ring-fenced, it's also all the expenditure functions. At the moment, the water and sanitation function is dispersed across a municipality.
Right.
So you have a water and sanitation department, which is basically just a technical department, and the head of that department doesn't have control over his or her supply chain, which is under the CFO. They often don't have control over the recruitment, which is under the HR department. So you can't have single point accountability. So these changes that are going to be introduced emphasize the importance of ring fencing of both revenue and the expenditure functions. So you can have someone who's the head of water and sanitation who can be held accountable, who can't have excuses that someone else in the municipality is not doing their job. And then we also have legislation currently before Parliament in terms of the Water Services Amendment Bill,
Right.
which is bringing in, which will introduce new powers to the Department of Water and Sanitation to introduce stronger national norms and standards for water services, which will include requirements regard to the minimum qualification requirements for various types of people working in water and sanitation departments, including the head of the water and sanitation department, so that we can move towards professionalized, more of a utility model, which is run by professional people with the right qualifications.
Yes. So one of the things that I've read there is opening pathways for the private sector to be involved in whatever way might serve the larger goal of making us much more less wasteful of the water that we have. What would incentivize the private sector to get involved, though?
Well, John, the private sector is already highly involved in our national water resource infrastructure development. Most of the big dams that we develop, including this new huge dam we're building in Lesotho now as part of the second phase of the Lesotho Highlands project, is all financed by money raised in the markets. It's money that's borrowed from banks and from pension funds.
Right.
And the reason why that is done is because government doesn't have the capital required to do everything that requires capital. And water is meant to be a financially self-sustaining function. Water should have a constant stream of revenues from the sale of water, and those revenues can be used to raise finance to get the necessary capital to invest in the infrastructure required. So we're doing that. More than 60% of our national water resource infrastructure is financed through private sector investment, but at municipal level it's different. A very small percentage of municipal capital works in the water and sanitation sector is financed by private sector investment, and that's one of our challenges, because municipalities should be using their revenue streams much more to borrow money and to do public-private partnerships. There is enough capital in South Africa. There's enough money in the pension funds and the banks, and in fact, most of the pension funds and banks would love to invest a lot more in municipal water and sanitation, because it's something that will always be required, and there's a steady stream of revenue. So it's a very good investment for pension funds. But many municipalities are not bringing bankable projects to the market to allow the private sector to invest. So that's one of the focus areas, to assist and support municipalities and incentivize them to bring such projects to the market.
Thank you so much once again, Dr. Sean Phillips, Director General for the Department of Water and Sanitation, spelling out a very optimistic and certainly practical sounding approach to dealing with our water crisis. Of course, it's in the details that we are going to find points where we stumble. And the other thing that I have to say always concerns me is there are in the space, as they are in virtually every area of South African public life, I'm afraid, bad actors, people who actually see benefit from things not working. And I'll give you a very small example. I mean, I've reported a major water leak in my area. I did it on social media. It got fixed. Then 100 meters up the road, there was another leak, and that took a while to fix, and that got fixed. And now it's broken again. And I can only draw one of two conclusions. The one is that the people who fixed it didn't know what they were doing, i.e. in terms of the competence required. Or secondly, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they saw commercial opportunity in not fixing this properly, either because a private contractor was sent who saw an opportunity to do the job again, or these are people who are employed by the city of Johannesburg who will doubtless come back on a Sunday and earn the overtime. And as long as every maintenance project has the potential to be a crime scene, then I think we've got a deep problem. But that water plan sounds interesting. It sounds doable. We just have to clean up the situations where people who thrive on malfunction are not allowed to do so. 702 Drive.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, John. Will gold lose? Brent crude $4 weaker in the hour since I last spoke to you, partly because of that sort of pause in fighting between the US and Iran, helping the JSE All Share to go up 0.65%, 110,110 points today. Financials up 0.75%, industrials up 1.89%, and resources down 1.68%. Really strong day for Mondi. They're up 5% on the day, but the paper and packaging producer Impact reporting its headline earnings for the 6 months to the end of June will be down by 50%. It says their paper converting and plastics businesses delivered both volume and profitability growth that was more than offset by lower paper mill margins because of lower prices for container board and carton board. They are optimistic their second half will be stronger. Traditionally, the second half is slightly stronger. Vodacom is also up 2.5% on the day, John. They confirmed their group revenue for the quarter to the end of June up by 11% at normalized rates. Egypt coming in at 36%. Their prepaid revenue here seems to be increasing their performance there. Their revenue in South Africa up by 1.6%. And Marafa Resources saying their ferrochrome production with Glencore down by 75%. Two of its smelters had suspended production. The Lion smelter had suspended for part of that period. But they were able to increase headline earnings by around 65%, driven by higher commodity prices and higher volumes of chrome ore being sold. Sun International's up 3.5%, Prosus and Naspers up 3%, Mr. Price up nearly 3%, and Bidvest up 2.29%. Energy shares down though. Tungela down 5%, Glencore down 3.87%, Sasol down 3% as well, and Exxaro down 2%. Telkom down 2% on the day as well. In the US, a little bit more optimism because of lower oil prices. Also, in interest rate decision this week, don't forget, the Dow Jones is up 0.53%, the Nasdaq is down 0.07%, the S&P 500 is up 0.09%. The gold price $4,074.30, platinum $1,626.10, Brent crude $86.38, and the rand to the dollar $16.74 to the euro, $19.04 to the British pound, 22.28. On the Money Show tonight, John, the latest on the Public Investment Corporation, who takes over on the board there and as chair. We'll speak to Songezo Zibi about that. I think he'll have plenty to say if I know him. We will talk also tonight about the grey list, the Financial Action Task Force grey list, concerns that in fact they're making the goalposts smaller. I mean, the only other person I know who messes with the rules like that is Donald Trump. And then we'll also be talking about the film industry and in how I make my money, the business of starting businesses and helping businesses from scratch. We'll speak to the Managing Director at Faith and Fear, Taryn Hunter-Sharman. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Money Show between 6 and 8. That chat with Songezo Zibi, the highlight of an excellent lineup, I think. Let's find out what's happening in the news now with Maki Mulapo. Big announcement from the NPA, I believe.
That's right, John. Good afternoon. The National Prosecuting Authority has directed that fraud and corruption charges against senior crime intelligence officers be withdrawn. In June last year, the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption arrested the head of crime intelligence, Dumsane Khumalo, and 7 other officers. It was alleged they colluded to appoint an inexperienced person to a senior role within crime intelligence. However, recent revelations at the Madlanga Commission have shown IDEC's case was baseless and the person appointed to the position was suitably qualified. Responding to representations made by the crime intelligence officer, the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Ndi Mutibi, has directed for the charges to be provisionally withdrawn. Meanwhile, at the Madlanga Commission, the Commission will be instituting criminal charges against a person who disclosed the identity of a witness who testified anonymously. Since the Commission began its hearings last September, it's had several witnesses testify anonymously, largely due to fearing for their lives. Marius van der Merwe, who was given the alias of Witness D, was killed last year, a few weeks after giving testimony at the Commission. However, commissioners did not disclose which witness or suspect this pending case relates to. Commission Chairperson Buyiseli Madlanga says the disclosing of anonymous witnesses is a criminal offence.
Consequently, the Commission is going to institute criminal proceedings against that person. This is a matter that the Commission takes very seriously, and it simply must act in these circumstances.
The Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport is intensifying efforts to restore vandalized traffic signals across the province, with repairs already underway at key intersections in Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni. The department says the restoration program includes stronger security measures, including reinforced equipment and surveillance systems to curb cable theft and further damage to road infrastructure. Spokesperson Lisiba Mpia is urging motorists and communities to help protect traffic infrastructure by reporting acts of vandalism. He warns that damaged traffic signals disrupt the flow of traffic, increase congestion, and pose a serious safety risk to road users.
Work to rebuild vandalized intersections will include added safety features and secure components such as strengthened controller boxes, underground chambers, secure bollards around poles, as well as CCTV cameras with built-in intelligence analytics. These works are seen as critical in the restoration program to improve safety and facilitate mobility in critical intersections in and around Gauteng.
And Chad has announced plans to withdraw from the International Criminal Court. The country says the court's effectiveness is limited and uneven, with a focus on Africa. It says out of 13 investigations opened by the court since it came into force, 9 concern African states, but no concrete progress has been made. Chad's decision follows Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, who jointly announced that they were pulling out of the ICC in September. A look at your weather. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng. Tomorrow, temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 4 and 6 degrees and peak at highs between 19 and 22 degrees.
Some good news in Benoni. That accident scene N12 East near Atlas Road has been cleared and traffic should be back to normal shortly. However, in the Germiston area, roadworks are still causing more than a 30-minute delay on the N17 eastbound between Osborne and Rondebold, and in Cleveland, heading towards Germiston, accident scene M2 eastbound. This is before Cleveland Road, causing heavy delays from George Goch.
The top story in Eyewitness News. The National Prosecuting Authority has directed that fraud and corruption charges against senior crime intelligence officers be withdrawn.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The resignation of IDAC head Advocate Andrea Johnson, the president accepting that resignation. Dr. Narini, this almost doesn't come as a surprise, really.
Well, it's not a surprise. It is good she has done it and the president has accepted. She was going to be suspended anyway. It was just a matter of time, given the revelations at the Mazanga Commission. Even though she has resigned, she will continue to testify.
What happens to her now? I mean, does she get a golden handshake and off to the sunset she goes?
There are no golden handshakes in government. There is no such a thing. She'll just get a normal pension like all other public servants. But as far as the sanctions are concerned, with all the complaints against her now, those complaints will be sustained, because it doesn't mean that the case goes away merely because she's no longer in that position.
Right.
So there will be consequences.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
This past Sunday, tens of thousands showed up to walk with the people, for our Jozi in the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Thank you for taking the scenic route with us, creating unforgettable memories and showing the world that Joburg is more than just a city. It's a remarkable energy that connects us all. Here's to Joburg, here's to us, here's to 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
As a business owner, you're always looking for ways to save money. But have you looked at saving on your business insurance premium? With OUTsurance Business Insurance, you could save big, like Bosmansdam High School.
We were with our previous insurance for 10 years plus before switching to OUTsurance Business Insurance.
We are saving 3,705 Rand per month.
It was so quick and easy, we should have switched sooner.
Ready to switch and save? Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
What's for dinner tonight, South Africa? Hiya, Jamie Oliver here. Dinner stress? Forget it. I've teamed up with Checkers to bring you some of my favourite recipes the whole family will love. Like my tasty superfood quinoa salad, veggie, gluten-free and packed with goodness. Easy peasy and delicious. Shop the ingredients on Checkers 6060 and boom, delivered in 60 minutes. Every week, 5 brand new dinner ideas. Checkers, dinner done better.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Afternoon, John. For me, it's a quote from the great debaters. We do what we have to do so that we can do what we want to do. When I don't feel like doing anything, I remind myself of that.
Hi, Prajon. Good afternoon once again. Good afternoon, listeners. So, on movies and quotes that have meanings in our lives, or in my life at least, it's a quote from Joseph Morgan from the originals when he says, world is a rather awful place. You rather meet it and on its terms. I think it's very emotional and it's very supportive whenever things that are not particularly fair happens in life. It just gives us strength to go on.
Yeah, thank you for those. And here's one more from Ritlile, who says, first we try, then we trust, from Sean Connery and the movie Entrapment. Now, I got another one from Adil, who asks a question. Let me see. Where did that go now? Okay, Adil, I'll find your voice, your text in just a moment. But it's a very, very, very nice quote from a movie from Adil. And you can see I'm dragging this out while I try to find where I put it. Okay, I'll find it. We'll do it later. 702 Drive, it's 20 to 6.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele Banyana. Game 1 of bid to win a trophy. They last won in 2022. News from the camp, please.
Well, John, they're looking to make a positive start to their WAFCON campaign when they go up against Tanzania in their Group B opener from 7 p.m. If selected, Linda Matlaolo will make her 100th national team appearance, while Captain Refile Jane has discussed areas they've been working on.
Preparing for any team, you have to work holistically from defense to attack. It's things that we have been working on. Our fitness levels also. We've got quite a good team. We're working really hard on set pieces also, because over the years we've been struggling on set pieces. But lately, at least, there's been some good light. We're doing better. Try to score goals that we create. So it's going to be very key for the team to do that.
Fernando de Cruz believes that offensive reinforcements are required if Kaizer Chiefs are going to have a sustained run in any competition this season. His comments come on the back of their 1-0 Toyota Cup success over Scotland FC, while they begin their Betway Premiership campaign away to Kruger United on Saturday.
He says that we have a good defensive structure, but offensively, for the moment, it's a part we take most of the time to work and to improve. We are working for that, but it's our process, it's our way to improve offensively.
Dave Rennie has named his 44-man All Black squad for what he calls the toughest tour in rugby. That's against the Springboks in August and September. All 34 players who completed an unbeaten Nations Championship campaign are named in the squad, while Reko Ayoni and Fabian Holland are recalled. Cody Taylor has been named tour captain, with regular skipper Adi Sevilla rested until the first test against the Boks.
Yeah, Cody Taylor will be the tour captain. He certainly won't play in the first couple of games, Cody, but the plan was always Cody would have only played one of those 3 games prior to the first test, and so we'll get a variety of leaders who we think can do the job on the day. I think a tour captain will deal with a hell of a lot of media and scrutiny while we're over there. It's not just the 80 minutes on game day, so a good chance to grow others.
And Team South Africa started Monday with 9 medals at the 2026 Commonwealth Games, with all of them coming from the swimming centre. There are 5 swimmers in finals action tonight, with Michael Howley looking to medal in the 50-metre breaststroke, while Laura van der Kerk was fastest in the morning heats. That's in the women's equivalent. On the track, Franco Leroux is into the 110-metre hurdles final, while Bradley Nkona and Cheswell Johnson are through to the men's 100-metre semi-finals. In the lawn bowls, Wayne Ritmuller is up to second in the men's singles with 1 match remaining, but he's unable to catch table topper Gary Kelly and is out of medals contention. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, let's go out onto the roads and find out what's happening in the traffic. Karabo, problems in Germiston. Is this a continuation of the Benoni issue?
No.
Something different.
Yes,
Okay.
totally different, John. This time is leaving Germiston, heading towards Brakpan on the N17 eastbound roadworks, causing about a 30-minute delay between Osborne Road and Roundabout, while in Cleveland, heading towards Germiston, there's an accident scene M2 eastbound, this is before Cleveland Road, causing heavy delays from George Koch. If you are leaving the Joburg CBD heading towards Soweto, traffic remains heavily backed up. This is on the M1 southbound. From Corlett Avenue all the way to the Crown Interchange due to an earlier accident. As a result, this is driving from Germiston into the Joburg CBD. Traffic also heavily backed up on the M2 westbound from Heidelberg Road. Kempton Park heading towards Tembisa. Expect some delays on Zierfontein Road between Orange Rivier and Allendale. Northcliffe traffic remains sluggish on Beyers Naudé between Judges and the N1. Zakaria Park south of Joburg. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Golden Highway between the R554 Nirvana Drive and Freedom Drive, and in Montana, Pretoria. Leaving the CBD, traffic remains a bit sluggish on Eskia Mphahlele between Wormhagen and the R80. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
702 Drive, 16 minutes to 6. Here's Adil's movie line. He says, not sure which movie. I trust everybody, but not the devil inside of them. And I Googled it. There's slightly different versions of it, but what everyone agrees on is it comes from the Italian Job, and it's delivered by the character Stella Bridger, who is played by Charlize Theron. 15 minutes to 6.
Good afternoon, Dr. John and the 702 listeners at large. Quincy here. References to songs that have walk in them. One of my favorite would be the Kanye West one, Jesus Walks. It's a nice song. I really dig that. Maybe it's revealing my age, but I love that song. Thank you, Dr. John.
God, show me the way because the devil's trying to break me down. You know what the Midwest is? Young and restless, but restless. Might snatch your necklace, and next these might jack your Lexus. Somebody tell these who Kanye West is. I walk through the valley of the shadow.
Jesus Walks by Kanye West, and that was offered in response to the theme that we put out for you for our music feature today, songs that have walking in them. Just a little reflection and celebration of a really special day in the central part of Johannesburg yesterday. Some good suggestions already, but I don't think I have yours. So please send it to 072 702 1702. 14 minutes to 6.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
How would it manifest as an adult that you would even know you need to reparent certain parts of yourself? Because some people's coping mechanisms of, well, the solution is don't expect anything from anybody. It can be hyperdependence, but to them it looks like something positive because I don't need nobody.
I think in this case, what looks accessible is a reality that you understand. First, it starts from awareness. You wouldn't just generally know that I have to reparent myself if you don't have a sense of awareness.
Sorry, you need to repeat that again because I think that's such a powerful thing.
Be able to know what you don't have until you recognize it, that it's not there.
Anele Siswana, clinical psychologist and traditional healer.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Vandalism and theft of water infrastructure affects everyone. Damage to pipes, meters, valves, reservoirs, and other critical infrastructure can result in water outages, low pressure, sewer spillages, and costly repairs that impact communities across Johannesburg. Johannesburg Water urges residents to help protect public infrastructure by reporting suspicious activity affecting the water network. To report incidents or water-related faults, call Johannesburg Water on 010 061 4470. That's on 010 061 4470. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
That's Fani, before he got naked. Fani's insurance premium went up for no reason, irritating him more than when the boys ignored the really funny meme he posted in the group chat. What? So Fani got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Go Fani. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
702 Drive. Right, we're asking for songs that have walk or walking in the title. We're getting some great voice notes. Let's listen to one.
Good afternoon, John. My song with the lyric Walking will be a song by Che titled Walking in Memphis. Thank you, John. Great show as always. This is Radipobe from Midrand.
Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. Touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me? Yeah, I got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis, just walking with my feet 10 feet off a beam. Walking in Memphis.
Mark Cohn there with the original. I know you asked for Cher, but we thought we'd just go back and play where it started. Mark Cohn, real classic, that song. Okay, let's go back to some of your text messages and see if we can pick up a couple of other songs now. A lot of you are asking for Walk the Line by Johnny Cash, and Chad offers a little story about what the song is about. And here goes Chad, who asked, by the way, to be referred to the Republic of Chad after we had them in the news. Nope, just Chad, I'm afraid. Says, the story behind Walk the Line by Johnny Cash is a promise to his wife that love would help him to behave and love will make him keep his promises. Johnny Cash. Okay.
I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tie that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. I find it very, very easy to be true. I find myself alone when each day's through. Yes, I'll admit that I'm a fool for you.
Johnny Cash, Walk the Line. Somebody else sent us another classic from a little bit later in music history. What about Walk on the Wild Side? Lou Reed. We'll see if we can dig that out. But in the meanwhile, let's see what we've got here.
Hi, John. Walking on a Chinese Wall by Philip Bailey. Rappo in Johannesburg.
That one really popular. A lot of people asking for Walking on the Chinese Wall. Philip Bailey. Lovely vocals there. That one came out in 1984. Munir would like us to bring in the English Premier League season a little bit early and says, can you play You'll Never Walk Alone? We played it a while back on Randall's one song. Mandy asked for You'll Never Walk Alone. Guys, you're going to be walking alone on that one, I'm afraid. Marie goes to the Proclaimers. I would walk 500 miles. So much of the so many of your suggestions, and we're not going to get a chance to play them. Graham wants Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves. Have we got some more voice notes? Let's see if we can go to those. No, we don't seem to have those lined up. Yeah, it's amazing. I must admit, when we made the suggestion, I did not know there were so many songs that had the word walk or walking in them. Togozani suggests Walking in New York, and Ben Harper is coming up with Walk Away. Lots of people. This one, Rena says Walking Back to Happiness. It's an oldie. I don't know who it is. This is probably the most popular suggestions that we've had so far. Nancy Sinatra's These Boots Are Made for Walking. 5 minutes to 6. Let's just wrap you up on what's been happening in the news today. One of the big developments is the National Prosecuting Authority has just announced that charges against Dumisani Kumalo and others have been withdrawn. I think it's provisionally withdrawn, but it really is a very, very significant development and once again illustrating that there is really significant power in what is going on at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. That, of course, flowing out of Andrea Johnson's appearance, which has been continuing today. Let's get back to the music.
John and the 702 team. The first song that I can think of that references walking is Walking by Mary Mary from 2011. Thank you. Cheers. Begin from Century.
Now that I got your attention, yeah, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Come on, hey, baby, Mary Mary, hey, we back again, hey, y'all mind walking with us for a second? Talk to him.
Tell me what you see when I pass by. A shadow, a cloud, or a line in the sky. Am I getting it wrong or am I getting it right? Well, all I can take is one step at a time. Look at me, I'm trying every day. I fall down, make mistakes, get back up, try again. Next time that you see me, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. 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 Some people say walking takes too long, but I say with walking you can't go wrong. Why should you rush your way through life? You won't get very far.
Yeah, that was from Mary Mary. The song's simply called Walking. Walking the talk. We're talking about walking. Let's have one more song.
John, this is a quote from a movie from the 80s, The Mission, with Robert De Niro and Jeremy Irons, where Jeremy Irons says, if might is right, then love has no place in this world. Nick Centurion.
All this love
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us here on 702 Jade with Don't Walk Away. This has been 702 Drive with me, John Perlman, and the team. Have a great Monday. Good night.